Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Konoha, Naruto, You Were Born as a Devil. Chapter 81. The guards gave way and no one stopped him. However, something happened quietly. The daimyo hesitated in his heart, suppressed the feeling, and went straight into the hall. Soon the daimyo began calling his wife's name. However, she was not seen, not even her daughter Ziwan. The daimyo felt displeased and immediately called the guards to inquire. The answer I got was that the witch had already left. Where are you going? The daimyo gave a dangerous look. The expressions of the ninjas from the kingdom of ghosts who followed him also became unkind. The guards kept their mouths shut and did not intend to tell the daimyo about the whereabouts of the Miko. The furious daimyo was about to start a killing spree. However, he was stopped by the demon inside him. Forget it, daimyo. The monster spoke. The old voice is like the oldest mountain range. As an existence older than the tailed beast, it has witnessed all history. Don't worry, it must be the Miko's precognitive ability. A Miko who can predict the future takes action in advance to avoid the future. And the price? It is the lives of her subordinates. Throughout the ages, countless guards have volunteered their lives for the witches. Because only in this way can the prophecy be fulfilled. If there are guards who are afraid of death and don't want to die for the Miko, then the Miko will really die. Therefore, the so-called prophecy is actually a hymn piled up with human lives. We can't let the Miko succeed. The demon signaled that men should be sent to pursue and stop the witch, instead of slaughtering these useless guards at will. Well, that's it. The daimyo's face softened slightly, and his mood gradually calmed down. He immediately turned around and ordered his subordinates to track down the traces of the witch. Although she possesses profound magic power, after all, the Miko is just an ordinary person in terms of mobility, and she cannot go far. Chi. The milk feeding rescue operation has come to an end. Naruto pressed the milk bottle firmly in, trying to let Shion drink the rest of the milk in one breath. Shion. Wow. Shion, who was in a poisoned state, finally came to an end after being fed by Naruto for a long time and in a state of subconscious resistance. Her body twisted unconsciously, and her hands and feet trembled slightly. After all, being poisoned and being fed a large amount of milk must be uncomfortable, and an instinctive struggle is inevitable. However, her patient's reaction was directly suppressed by Naruto. A small body possesses unparalleled power. He restrained Shion and kept feeding the milk for a long time. Naruto pulled away. Woo. Pure white milk slowly flowed down Shion's bright red lips. Her eyes that were looking around had recovered a little at this time, and she looked much more normal. However, the eyes that were still out of focus proved that the poison had only been slightly neutralized and had not been completely dispelled. It seems the situation is very serious this time. Naruto stood aside, rubbing his chin and thinking. The projection on the wall reflected his figure, and the shadow of the accompanying tailed beast. The latter and Naruto stared at the beautiful Anbu girl lying on the ground. It does not sleep, but becomes more active in the colors of the night. Do you also care about Sister Shion? Naruto seemed to be talking to himself, and seemed to be talking to the companion tailed beast. Kyuubi. This made Kyuubi realize that the darkness in Naruto Uzumaki's heart was simply indescribable. It seems that further treatment is necessary. Naruto said, we are going to start the second round of healing. Most of the components of the human body are water. Generally speaking, toxins can be effectively taken away by expelling water from the body. Sister Shion is a ninja, not an ordinary person, so drainage the way is even simpler. Naruto was happy to think that Azuki Yugon could drain the water from his body by releasing water escape ninjutsu. Because I just added a lot of milk, there is no need to worry about damaging the body. So, Naruto, who immediately thought of it, decided to do it immediately. Obviously, this time, it's a step deeper than last time, or even the previous 2 times combined. Sister Shion, can you get up? Naruto tried to help Shion get up. Shion, who was lying on the floor, stood up shakily, with slow and epileptic movements, like a common patient in the hospital. With Naruto's help, she slowly, step by step, walked towards the bathroom where Naruto guided her. The release of water release ninjutsu requires a floor drainage device, which is not suitable for the living room. Time passed slowly, and it took 5 minutes just to get up and walk into the bathroom. However, Naruto, who was taking care of the patients, was not in a hurry. Naruto told himself to be patient. After all, who hasn't had a headache or fever? Shion, who was in a daze of consciousness, occasionally uttered unconscious murmurs. It sounded more like some kind of subtle mourning. After entering the bathroom, Naruto closed the door, and the transparent frosted glass reflected two blurry silhouettes. In the bathroom, Shion stood still. The trembling legs and feet proved that it was not easy for her. Sister Shion, please start. Naruto looked at Shion and signaled that she could start. He would be watching over her, no problem. But Shi Yan didn't seem to be able to understand what Naruto said. She was confused and tried hard to think. However, the Nine Tails chakra itself affected her thinking, and coupled with Naruto's yang escape, it began to produce permanent changes in the brain. Water escape ninjutsu. Won't Sister Shion release it? Naruto frowned slightly. This was not a good thing to say. So Naruto opened the bathroom door, immediately ran to the living room, opened the drawer, and found a ninja encyclopedia book inside. This book was naturally brought by Hinata. Naruto and Hinata also worked at their desks and learned the knowledge. After some searching, Naruto found the entry for water release ninjutsu. That's it. Naruto quickly grasped what he needed to master. Then, Naruto returned to the bathroom and began to form the seals in a decent manner. After all, under the influence of Seiko, he has learned, wind release, great breakthrough. Isn't it easy to form a seal? However, the void seal drawn by Naruto was still not understood by Shi Yan. No way to mess with. Naruto suddenly remembered that in the original work, Enko used Orochimaru's hand to assist in forming a seal to complete the ninjutsu. Many times, a ninja can use the hands of others to form seals. In this way, you can complete the guidance of the movement of chakra through the meridians in your body. Sister Shion, let's get started. Naruto stretched out his right hand and explored Shi Yan. With a rustling sound, Naruto placed it in the right position. Then, Naruto started to make rapid seals, his right hand speeded up, and soon it became an afterimage. Tisk, chi chi chi. At the same time, in the hospital late at night, Moonlight Gale was about to go to sleep, but he received a visitor. She came during this time period, so he was obviously not an ordinary person. The silver-haired young man in dark blue lining has finished his day's work. His tired face was covered with half a mask. He sat in front of Hayate's bed and asked about Hayate's injuries. Due to the nature of their work, the Anbu and the reconnaissance squad always cooperate with each other, so, over time, Kakashi and Hayate became old comrades in arms. Of course, he also takes good care of his junior Yugo Kakashi. Kakashi-senpai, you want to ask something about Naruto? Hayate could see Kakashi flinching. As a disciple of the fourth Hokage, Kakashi should take good care of his teacher's children. However, because of such a miserable life, Kakashi himself was unable to adjust. But after this time, Kakashi felt much better. Akai always interrupts, and the whole person can't help but be guided in a good direction. Of course, the company of other companions is also. If everyone is not around, I really don't know what will happen. Well, I guess so. Kakashi scratched his head and admitted his purpose. Many major events during this period are related to the teacher's children, which really makes people pay attention. Naruto, that kid, I'm afraid it won't take long to surpass you. Moonlight Gale smiled slightly, indicating that Kakashi doesn't have to worry at all. Even the 7 ninja swordsman Biwajuzo was defeated. This is not an ordinary child. What the first genius Uchiha Itachi? That's just because Naruto hasn't entered school yet. Seeing that Gale has such a high evaluation of the teacher's child, Kakashi was very surprised. But the most important thing is that the child has an extremely kind heart. Gale laughed. You don't have to worry, Senior Kakashi, Uzumaki Naruto is fine. Really, Kakashi's worried heart finally let go, and he couldn't help but smile happily. So, what is Naruto doing at this time? He must have fallen asleep. Hayate shrugged. After all, children fall asleep easily. With Shion here, Shion will take good care of him. Thinking of his lover, the smile on Zaifeng's mouth became brighter. Naruto's residence. Squeak. Shion. Oh. With the help of Naruto, Shion released a fierce water escape ninjutsu. The auxiliary seal really works, Naruto said happily. The human body is mostly made of water, and using the discharge of water to remove toxins from the body is a practical method. Thinking of this, Naruto immediately speeded up the seal. Shion, assisted by Naruto, naturally guided the performance of the technique more smoothly. Squeak. The water that had been gushing onto the bathroom floor immediately rose all the way up and quickly stained the frosted bathroom glass door. Chi chi chi. Such an intense performance of the technique is worthy of the strength and status of the Anbu girl's special ninja. However, such continuous jutsu will inevitably consume a lot of chakra and physical strength. Okay, that's about it. Naruto retracted his right hand and stopped helping to seal. And just when Naruto thought that Shiyan would be exhausted or even fall down, the latter began to seal herself with amazing willpower. This time, Shiyan did not rely on Naruto's help. She seemed to subconsciously stretch out her right hand and began to cast the technique on her own. Oh oh oh. So, with Shiyan's low cry, without Naruto's help, she began to save herself and drive away the toxins. The second round of the technique began, and the torrent of water escape washed the bathroom floor again. Chi-chi. Life will always find a way out. Looking at this scene, Naruto was very relieved. Well, Sister Shiyan, I won't bother you anymore. After saying that, Naruto opened the door and left the bathroom. Click. When Naruto closed the door gently, he saw the silhouette of Shiyan, who was still redeeming herself, through the frosted glass. The act of struggling to make hand seals and performing water escape techniques to remove toxins from the body made Naruto feel more relieved. Ha! Naruto yawned, thinking, maybe I should take a nap. When I wake up, Sister Shiyan will definitely be fine. So, Naruto moved out the bedding with peace of mind and quickly got into bed. Shiyan. Oh. It was late at night, and the time came to 9 o'clock. The whole konoha was silent, and almost every household was immersed in sleep. However, in the Uchiha clan's residence, there was a light that continued to shine. Uchiha Fugaku sat cross-legged in the living room, thinking for a long time. It takes a long time for an idea to be conceived and realized. After his eldest son became a Chunin, he has been thinking about his eldest son's future, and even the future of Uchiha. Letting Itachi join the police department will only follow the rules. And it's time for the Uchiha clan to usher in a new change. The Battle of the Kumogakure battlefield, the name of the Uchiha clan resounded throughout the ninja world, and the momentum was almost unstoppable. The next thing to do is to go one step further. Since the establishment of the village, the Uchiha clan has many unrealized ambitions. It has always been confined to the police department. The reason for this is naturally because the top management has always intended to exclude Uchiha from the center of power. Now, this matter needs to change. Fugaku, the beautiful wife beside him, reminded softly that it was time to rest. It's not too late to think about this kind of thing tomorrow. I'm going out for a while. Fugaku made up his mind to complete this matter tonight. Makoto could only watch her husband's back disappear in the vast night. Soon, Uchiha Fugaku came to the file warehouse. The lights in the Hokage building had long been turned off late at night, and only candles were still burning in the dim environment here. At the end of the file warehouse, one of the rooms is the office of the commander of the Anbu, Danzo. In the extremely gloomy environment, Uchiha Fugaku saw Danzo, who was still working. Danzo, known as the Inn of Ninja, is in charge of the Anbu and is also the assistant of the Hokage. To apply for Itachi to join the Anbu, Danzo is naturally indispensable. What's the matter with you coming so late? Danzo squinted his eyes, looking calm and composed, and no emotion could be seen. Fugaku. I came for my son. Fugaku's words made Danzo's heart fluctuate. The confrontation, the judgment on Itachi's future, and the path of Uchiha, were staged in this dark room. 10 o'clock in the evening. Naruto, who had taken a nap, yawned. Yawn escape gave Naruto plenty of energy. After a short rest, he could get the maximum sleep of ordinary people. Before getting up, Naruto heard a faint hum coming from the bathroom. After leaving the bed, Naruto looked towards the bathroom. On the frosted glass door, the silhouette of Azuki Yugao trying to perform the water escape technique still appeared. Compared to the initial state, Azuki Yugao's state at this time seemed a little frantic. After thinking for a while, Naruto realized that the side effects of Yang Escape plus Nine-Tail Chakra were a bit too strong. Compared with the simple Nine-Tail Chakra, the new power generated by Yang Escape will stimulate the human body and mind more. It may not be appropriate to use such strength to save Hinata's mother, because just this appearance will scare a lot of people. However, talking about toxicity without considering the dosage is just a trick. Through the continuous experiments of Yugao, increasing and decreasing the dose may get a suitable ratio. If the power is too strong, just reduce the dose. Soon, Naruto thought of the next round and the right angle to start. Next time, just inject Yang Escape into the milk. Quote. Naruto decided to make some changes and start with milk next time. After all, milk can neutralize toxins, just like the combination of medicinal properties, which can effectively reduce the toxin content. With an idea, you can start the experiment. It's better to start sooner rather than later. Naruto decided to start now. So, Naruto walked to the bathroom door and opened it with a creak. The frantic figure of Azuki Yugao also stopped at this moment. After releasing another water escape ninjutsu, she leaned against the smooth wall tiles of the bathroom in exhaustion. Yuyan's pupils dilated and shrank. Her blank eyes seemed to be still awake. After dozens of water-style ninjutsu releases, a lot of water in her body was extracted. Yuyan, who was almost completely exhausted, no longer had the strength to move her fingers. Sister Yuyan, let's go drink water. Naruto said, thinking that he had to feed Sister Yuyan milk again. When Yuyan was carried to the living room and gently put down, the companion-tailed beast quickly rose. It helped Naruto get the milk and soon prepared to feed it. Sister Yuyan. Azuki Yuyan lay in the quilt, like a patient, being carefully taken care of by Naruto. Her unconscious trembling limbs made her look like she had a high fever. In fact, Azuki Yuyan's body temperature was indeed abnormally hot at this time. This was a sign of severe dehydration. With the idea of not delaying, Naruto immediately began to rescue her. Please drink the Yang-style milk. Quote, put the milk bottle to the little mouth. Sizzle. Naruto. Oh, Shien. Woo. A few days later in the evening, there was a burst of noise at the entrance of Konoha. The team led by Asuma returned to Konoha. There were many wounded in the team. After a long journey, they finally welcomed the Miko from the demon country to Konoha. On the way, they were attacked by the ninjas of the demon country. Although they successfully repelled the opponent, many ninjas on their side were injured. Different ninja villages have different ways of fighting. There is no ninja village in the demon country. Their ninjas still maintain the traditions of ancient times and are directly loyal to the daimyo. Therefore, the ancient way of fighting and the strange techniques brought unexpected results. We are back to the village, hold on. Quote, Asuma personally carried a wounded soldier and entered the village sweating. Soon after, it got dark. Asuma reported the mission process in the Hokage building. Finally completing the mission, he was relieved and thought he would get the recognition of his old father. However, the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen denied Asuma's achievements with a negative attitude. Why? Facing his father's silent attitude, Asuma was very puzzled. The depression in his heart almost burst out. From childhood to adulthood, he has been eager to get his father's recognition. He has come to this point today, even if he has become a senior ninja in Konoha, but he has not received his father's recognition. Asuma, you don't understand the true meaning of the will of fire. After a long time, Sarutobi Hiruzen, with his back to his youngest son, said where Asuma made a mistake. Just completing the mission cannot be called a Konoha ninja. To deeply understand what the will of fire is, this is the true inheritance of the will of the ancestors. Humph. Quote, Asuma's dissatisfaction finally erupted with a snort. He threatened to leave Konoha and leave this place. When he makes some achievements outside, he will come back to show his old father. Seeing his youngest son deviating further from the will of fire, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but sigh. Asuma, if you have 1/10 of Naruto's comprehension, sigh. Thinking of Naruto who was born with the will of fire, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but sigh. The gap between people is really huge. Where is the Miko? Quote, After Asuma left in anger, Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his head and looked at the shadow. The Anbu subordinate in the dark immediately replied, "The Miko-sama has been temporarily placed in the annex." The annex is a general term. A place specially for foreign guests to live is called a annex. Well, let the Miko-sama have a good rest for the night. Sarutobi Hiruzen decided to meet her tomorrow morning. The dark sky fell. The Uchiha clan's residence seemed to have touched some kind of common will. Almost every house, someone came out of it. On the dark street, people gradually walked in one direction. And that direction is the birthplace of the Uchiha clan, the location of the Nanga Shrine. Itachi walked forward step by step, feeling as if he had entered the abyss. Itachi. Fortunately, Shisui, who was both a teacher and a friend, was by his side, which made Itachi feel a little relieved. Wait to enter the secret place under the shrine. The Uchiha ninjas sat down cross-legged. Uchiha Fugaku sat at the head, and in front of him were fellow ninjas. Only clan members with ninja status were qualified to participate in the secret meeting. "Everyone, be quiet." As Uchiha Fugaku spoke, the atmosphere on the scene suddenly became quiet. Itachi successfully became a Chunin and successfully completed several missions. "Congratulations." Yashara and others immediately congratulated, and Itachi returned the greetings one by one. If a genius like Itachi joins the police department, he will definitely play a greater role. The clan members laughed. However, what Uchiha Fugaku said next stunned them. "I plan to let Itachi join the Anbu." The short silence was the boiling of blood in their hearts. Under the expectant gaze of the clan members, Uchiha Fugaku said, "The success, Danzo has already applied for approval. After that, Itachi can join the Anbu." Cheers broke out in the underground, and there was a commotion in the hall. Every clan member knew what Itachi joining the Anbu meant. The Uchiha clan finally broke free from the shackles of the police department and began to extend the tentacles of power to other departments. The Anbu is the most confidential central department of Konoha and can get the most intelligence. This means that the Uchiha can finally get in touch with the power center of Konoha. The victory in the Kumogakure battlefield made the Uchiha ninjas swell in their hearts. Now that the fourth generation died and the three ninjas left the village, the Uchiha has the greatest advantage. Faced with the overwhelming cheers of the clan members, Itachi only felt dizzy. He looked at his friend and found that Shisui's face was also lonely. After the tribe members calmed down, Uchiha Fugaku continued, "Everyone knows that the Anbu and the Root have been monitoring us. Uchiha is not a fool. After a long time, of course he knows that he is being monitored. So, we have to send out our own eyes. That person is Itachi. By joining the Anbu, he conducts Uchiha's spy operations. This is not good." However, Itachi's speech made the whole audience quiet, and everyone looked at him in unison. "We are all companions from the same village, but we create inexplicable opposition and alienation and confrontation." Itachi's muttering was clearly heard by everyone. "What did you say?" The eighth generation was the first to stand up. Because of his excitement, the three Magatama Sharingan appeared. Itachi means that some things cannot be said openly, and there must be a reason. Shisui immediately stood up, pressed Itachi's shoulders, and forced him to sit down. Shisui, with a smile on his face, laughed and eased the conflict that was about to break out. The emotions of Yashara and others finally calmed down, and he nodded. "Well, indeed, we should change the wording." So, the tribesmen began to discuss. Finally, they decided to take a series of actions in the name of expanding Uchiha's contribution to the village. Including letting Itachi join the Anbu, stealing, oh no, looking up Konoha's confidential information, so that Uchiha can learn more about this aspect so that they can be more loyal to the village. Looking at the excited faces of the tribesmen, Itachi's heart sank to the bottom. Peaceful evolution is more terrible than direct war. The tribesmen who originally planned to revolution changed their minds at the meeting tonight. Began to move towards peaceful evolution. Step by step, they invested their own chess pieces, and finally eroded Konoha. So, what will be the future of Uchiha, and even Konoha? What made Itachi even more desperate was the initiator who led all this, was his father. The father who was determined to change his strategy to peaceful evolution. Itachi had never thought that he could be so scary. Then, it's decided. Moments before the secret meeting ended, my father stood up and faced the clan members. Tomorrow, go to the Hokage-sama and force. Oh no, convince the Hokage-sama to let us Uchiha protect Miko-sama. This is a test and a coercion for the top management of Konoha. The Uchiha who proved himself on the Kumogakure battlefield no longer needs to be submissive. Early morning. Gigi. The chirping of birds rang in my ears. Quote exclamation mark quote. Shion woke up suddenly. The sun outside shines into the room. This is the top floor of a house at the end of the commercial street. There are almost no furnishings in the room, only a simple bedding and some daily utensils. Obviously, this is the residence arranged by the top management for themselves. Through the large floor-to-ceiling windows, you can directly see Naruto's life opposite. Who am I and where am I? Shion stood blankly in front of the window, letting the sun shine. The dilated pupils and dull face indicate that her mental condition is not 100% healthy. It took her a while to realize her situation. I have returned to the surveillance station. So, what time is it now? Shion spent some time thinking about it. It must have been several days since he visited Hayate that night. That's it. So, what have you experienced these days? Different from the memory loss last time. This round, Yongdun plus 9 Tails chakra caused some more special effects. Fragments of memory suddenly emerged in the brain. The vague memories began to be pieced together gradually as the fragments circulated. Shiyan remembered those things. Feed milk. Manually form seals to help yourself release water escape. The frenzy of self-rescue. He was fed milk again to replenish his moisture. And finally, a full body massage that relaxes the muscles and activates blood circulation, enough to cause bruises and even purple bruises on the body. Then, he must look very much like a patient now. People who don't know about it might think that they were brutally beaten. Shiyan turned around and looked at the floor-length mirror with dilated pupils. This mirror, which is as tall as a person, is the key to changing your outfit. Every time you take care of it, you will compare it here. The self in the mirror was wearing an Anbu uniform, with the mask tilted to the side of his head, and his white lotus-rooted arms exposed. Shion raised her hands, opened the Anbu uniform, and began to look at her body. As a result, no traces of bruises or purpleness were found. Her fair skin, like a porcelain doll, is enough to make others envious. So, is it an illusion? Or is it delusion? No, memory told myself, things did exist. In other words, for some reason, my body recovered quickly. But whatever, Naruto helped me, it's a fact. In the mirror, Shiyan's face was reflected, showing a slightly broken smile. The new power formed by Yong'un plus 9 Tails chakra permanently changed some characteristics of Uoyuki Shion, thus causing personality collapse. It's like a kind of brainwashing, or a change in common sense. And this is just the beginning of the collapse. Hokage Building. Early in the morning, Sarutobi Hiruzen took care of his affairs and prepared to go to meet the Miko. However, before he could go out, a familiar figure walked into the office. How is it, Hiruzen? Itachi is just as I said. As soon as Danzo entered the door, he brought up the matter of Itachi. Not long after he became a Chunin, Itachi completed an A-level mission, that is, the mission to protect the Miko who came to Konoha. He performed well in his mission. Even better than most people. Even Asuma and Kurenai were surprised by Itachi's talent. Well, Danzo, as you said, Itachi's 2 years as a genin were indeed a loss to the village. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded. If he had known this earlier, he would have made Itachi a Chunin. I received an interesting application the other day. Danzo showed a satisfied smile and took out a document from his arms. From Uchiha Fugaku, he hopes that his son Itachi can join the Anbu. Oh, Sarutobi Hiruzen showed a surprised expression. Yan and Xiaoharu strongly opposed it, after all, the second generation. Danzo didn't finish his words. Because some words are not suitable to be said directly. But Sarutobi Hiruzen knew this very well. That proposal was the establishment of a police department to drive the Uchiha clan out of the center of Konoha. This is the intention of the second generation. He hopes that Uchiha will never come into contact with the center of power. So, you too. Sarutobi Hiruzen thought that Danzo had the same idea as Koharu and En. After all, Danzo has been hostile to Uchiha for so many years. No, there's no harm in letting that kid join. Danzo's answer was uncharacteristic and almost shocked Sarutobi Hiruzen's jaw. In fact, Danzo originally wanted Itachi to join the Anbu, general. No matter what means are used. In his own plan, Itachi was indispensable. If he actively recommended Itachi to join Anbu, it would make Uchiha Fugaku suspicious. However, in the Kumogakure War, Uchiha's performance and contribution made them inflated. This directly led to Uchiha Fugaku taking the initiative to apply and test. I have to say that the fact that I wanted Itachi to join Anbu became a very lucky thing. Itachi is a genius who has even surpassed the 4th generation Namikaze Minato since the founding of the village. It would be a waste to hide him. Danzo sighed. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked happy, thinking that Danzo had developed a love for talents. Itachi's talent forced him to recognize Uchiha. After all, Itachi was able to think like the Hokage at the age of 7. Maybe, Itachi can become the first Hokage of Uchiha. Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a good mood, so he burst into laughter. Danzo, then you must have convinced Koharu and En and the others. That's inevitable. Danzo used a few days to finally get Koharu and Yan to compromise. In order to achieve this, he specifically mentioned his plan to them. Koharu and Yan knew that they wanted to destroy Uchiha, so they agreed. And the one who has been kept in the dark is now the only one left, Hiruzen. Danzo. Next, let Itachi join the Anbu, and I will lead him personally. Then it's best. Sarutobi Hiruzen nodded with satisfaction. Danzo cherished his talent so much that he even wanted to coach Itachi himself. It seems that the situation of the Uchiha clan is about to completely change. Sarutobi Hiruzen was smiling. Danzo was laughing too. Danzo. We all have a bright future. Then who has no future? If I don't say it and no one knows it, Uchiha has no future. Danzo turned around and quickly left the office. He couldn't wait for Itachi to join the Anbu immediately. Konoha in the morning. The main road leading directly to the Hokage building was filled with people early in the morning. The Miko-sama from the land of ghosts made the villagers curious and wanted to take a look. When the witch wearing a luxurious white divine robe with gold trim and a golden hat crown passed by, the noise at the scene also froze. The villagers stood there blankly, staring blankly at the passing of this noble woman. The grace it displayed was enough to eclipse any woman. Quote. People stared at the scene blankly. It was not until the shrine maiden passed by that they woke up from their dream. Muffled discussions rang out in the crowd, and they were all excited, discussing things about the shrine maiden. Wangliang, a 1,000-year-old demon linked to the shrine maiden. Old Konoha residents have experienced more than one incident of Wangliang. As early as about 20 years ago, Wangliang had once caused trouble in the ninja world. Going back about 20 years, Wangliang also appeared in the world. Many villagers are witnesses of history, and they know the epic stories of each shrine maiden who sacrificed her life to seal the Wangliang. Seeing this shrine maiden with their own eyes, they couldn't help but shed tears, and their hearts were full of emotion. Naruto, who was also standing in the crowd, naturally would not miss such an interesting thing. So, that's how it is. Naruto, who is familiar with the plot of Naruto, had some thoughts when Asuma, Kurenai Yuhi, Itachi and others left the village a few days ago. Now that he saw the shrine maiden come to Konoha in person, Naruto knew that he might have triggered a series of butterfly effects. Let more plots of this world go in an unknown direction. The shrine maiden who should have been sacrificed appeared in Konoha. Does this mean that the monster has not been sealed yet? The shrine maiden with long fluttering chestnut hair is accompanied by a little girl with light yellow hair. The eyebrows and eyes of this little girl are somewhat similar to those of the shrine maiden. Obviously, she is the next shrine maiden. Shion. Miya-sama is so beautiful. Naruto stared at the woman in front of him. The noble temperament is not comparable to any woman he has ever seen. The companion-tailed beast in the body began to wake up. Naruto comforted it and signaled not to worry, because sooner or later. Soon, the shrine maiden met the Hokage. The smiling third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen exchanged pleasantries with the Miko. After a brief greeting, Sarutobi Hiruzen expressed his hope that the Miko could settle down in Konoha, preferably to live there permanently. The demons have been a long-standing and troublesome problem for the ninja world. Konoha has also suffered from them several times. If we can gather the power of Konoha and work with the Miko to permanently eliminate or seal the demons, that would be the best thing. The Miko nodded slightly and accepted the invitation of the Hokage. Since we have come all the way to Konoha, we naturally have this consideration. Among all the ninja villages, Konoha has the best reputation. Choosing this place as a place to live and relying on the power of Konoha is naturally no problem. In public, the Miko made a request. She hoped that Konoha could open up a place and build a temple for the Miko to perform rituals and practice. Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately said happily that it was absolutely no problem. There is actually an ancient temple in the back mountain of Konoha. The Uzumaki clan, shrine. After the Uzumaki clan was exterminated, the place became empty. After the death of the first Hokage's wife Uzumaki Mito, the place became even more dilapidated. Now, if it is renovated and decorated as a shrine for the shrine goddess, it will be no problem. The site is confirmed, and the guests and hosts are happy. The shrine maiden and the Hokage congratulate each other, and the specific details can be discussed slowly. In short, we will first hire craftsmen from the land of waves and have professionals to repair it. Just as Sarutobi Hiruzen invited the shrine maiden to enter the Hokage building, a voice in the crowd stopped them. Hokage-sama, shrine maiden, please stay. The one who appeared on the scene was Uchiha Fugaku. As a well-known clan in Konoha, who doesn't know the well-known Uchiha Fugaku? His sudden voice made people whisper. Quote. Naruto looked at Uchiha Fugaku, who was full of vigor and vitality. He looked completely different from the original work, where he was suppressed. The Kumogakure War changed some things, making Uchiha's reputation soar. Has Uchiha, who became famous again in one battle, started to swell? Naruto has enough reason to believe that the young Uchiha Shisui can persuade the two-tailed Jinchuriki, Yukito, to retreat. Then, Uchiha Fugaku, who has been famous for a long time, must be more able to persuade the Raikage to retreat. His attack also means that he is confident enough to do something. Hokage-sama, Your Highness, the Miko should be given enough protection when she settles in our Konoha. I heard, the ninjas in the land of demons are very strange. As Uchiha Fugaku described, everyone knew what he meant. Konoha lost some people and many people were injured in this mission to escort the Miko. They left with high spirits and returned with a defeated army. I think the ninjas from the demon country will definitely not give up and will definitely come to attack the shrine maiden. Uchiha Fugaku's words made a lot of sense, and Sarutobi Hiruzen had to nod his head in agreement. So, for the safety of the ninja world and Konoha, the Uchiha clan has an obligation to do so. Uchiha Fugaku immediately hoped that the Sandaime would hand over the responsibility of protecting the shrine maiden to the Uchiha clan in the name of justice. With the record of the conflict with Kumogaku, Uchiha Fugaku's request at this time is extremely reasonable. However, his attitude can also be understood as, more or less aggressive. He was obviously testing the Konoha high level, and even had a sense of pushing the issue. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was unaware of the Uchiha's ambition, just thought that the Uchiha clan wanted to show off. So, Sarutobi Hiruzen praised Itachi in front of Uchiha Fugaku. And said that Itachi could think with the mind of a Hokage at the age of 7. This statement, to Uchiha Fugaku, was no less than a compromise or instruction. What the Sandaime meant was, with Itachi's talent, he can become a Hokage sooner or later. This reminder completely woke up Uchiha Fugaku. The idea of physical revolution in Uchiha Fugaku's mind was thrown into the sea and never seen again. Peaceful evolution of Konoha became his first thought. Yes, with Itachi's talent, it's not a matter of time before he becomes a Hokage. Uchiha Fugaku decided immediately. The clan should take a more stable approach, seize power step by step, and erode Konoha step by step. Itachi joined the Anbu and became Hokage sooner or later. Seiko was betrothed to Naruto, and sooner or later he would win over the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. The clan strives for more power, and sooner or later the top leaders will be replaced by Uchiha. With 3 approaches, in the end, the whole Konoha belongs to Uchiha. So that's it. Naruto stroked his chin and thought for a while, and soon figured out the purpose of Uchiha Fugaku's public attack. Seiko's father wants to infiltrate Konoha step by step, force Konoha's top leaders, and thus control this village. If the Uchiha, who has been in the limelight because of the Kumogaku border war, can protect the Miko and assist in the elimination of the demon, it is equivalent to gaining the title of saving the ninja world. By then, the power of the Uchiha will be even more unstoppable. Once the demon dies, the ninja world will be at peace. If the Uchiha asked for something in a logical way, the Konoha high-ranking officials would definitely not be able to refuse. In terms of playing dirty, the Uchiha could not beat the Konoha high-ranking officials. But in terms of being above board and facing head-on, the Uchiha clan has never been inferior to anyone. This is a naked conspiracy. Thank you very much. The high-spirited Uchiha Fugaku thanked the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Then, the Uchiha ninjas gathered together, relying on their professional qualities to clear the way for the Miko, and gradually replace the escort duties of other Konoha ninjas. It was well organized, and it was clear that they were well trained. It was like the official army taking over a certain area from the city management. How to say it, it is worthy of being an elite clan. So, can Uchiha Fugaku's plan avoid the risk of the Uchiha clan being exterminated? Danzo should have asked Itachi to join the Anbu. Uchiha disrupting his original plan will only make Danzo more extreme and carry out darker plans. It can also be said that the Uchiha clan is still actively seeking death. Then, let's wait and see what happens next, Naruto thought. However, since the plot has begun to deviate and may not be completely in accordance with the original work, then he must have spies on his side. In terms of insight, no clan is stronger than the Hyuga. Another use of Hyuga Sha has been arranged. Naruto stared at the back of the shrine maiden leaving, reflecting this noble figure in his eyes, and then turned and left. Konoha Hospital. The daytime sun shone in, and Yugong Jaifeng tidied up his appearance and walked out of the ward. Today is his discharge day. After recuperating for more than a week, his body was idle. On this sunny morning, he couldn't help but sigh as he breathed in the air of the outside world. Not only sighing at the beauty of the outside world, but also thinking. Shi Yan should not come to greet him. After all, Shi Yan's mission is to protect Naruto. However, when Hayate walked to the door of the hospital, he was surprised to find his lover. Chingmei is wearing a white dress and has purple hair. The beautiful appearance and figure made Hayate stunned on the spot. The spring breeze blew slowly, and he was stunned. He didn't react until his childhood sweetheart came to him. Shion, Hayate, congratulations on being discharged from the hospital. Mao Yuexi showed a gentle smile, as beautiful as the girl walking out of the painting. Afterwards, Hayate, whose body felt a little sluggish, walked with his lover. Well, Shion, as Chingmei stretched out her slender hands to brush the hair beside her ears, she looked sideways and felt sarcastically. You seem to have become more beautiful. What he originally said should have been, aren't you protecting Naruto? However, when it came to his lips, it turned into this sentence. All this is because he feels that the lover he has not seen for a few days has really become more beautiful. Maybe it's because of been drinking milk during this period. Shi Yan smiled. Then he took Galate's arm. This time, Hayate was distracted and his mouth felt dry. The faint fragrance of shower gel wafted from his lover's body, making his head dizzy. As for why Naruto wasn't protected, I have to take a vacation from time to time. Shi Yan said playfully. That's right, it was all Naruto's suggestions. Shion, whose thinking had been changed, still remembered Naruto's kindness. This morning, Naruto told her to come and greet Hayate when he was discharged from the hospital. Shion naturally accepted it happily. However, she did not consider the unreasonableness and conflict with the mission. Naruto made the suggestion and she accepted it. Because she thought Naruto's opinion made sense. Hayate, let's go shopping, you haven't gone shopping with me for a long time. Shion said that she must go shopping today. After having enough fun, you can feel free to go back to protect Naruto again at night. When the time comes, whether you drink Naruto's milk or practice water escape with his help, you will be more effective. When the two left, but he didn't notice that Rizu was anxiously entering the hospital. During this time, he kept his wife in the hospital because she was close to giving birth. Today, the doctor informed him that his wife was about to give birth. Rizu, who hurriedly entered the hospital, and Hayate, who quickly left, formed a sharp contrast. The residents of the Hyuga clan. Hinata was looking at the courtyard in a daze. All she could think of was the appearance of that Uchiha girl. On more than one occasion, she caught the girl going to Naruto's house. Hinata became depressed and began to have random thoughts. Who is that Uchiha girl? How long have she and Naruto known each other? What is the relationship between the two? Hinata-sama. Hinata Nara opened the door and walked in. Looking at the depressed Hinata, she couldn't help but comfort her. Please don't worry, Master Yuyu will be fine. Oh. Hinata then remembered that her mother was giving birth today. My sister is about to be born. I'm going to have a sister. So, what is the name of that Uchiha peer? Hinata's great filial piety was not known to Hinata Natsu. But the sound coming from the wall outside the next second made her hair stand on end. Yo, Hinata. Naruto was seen standing on the wall of the Hyuga clan's residence, looking inside. Are you at home? Such a bold act, and no one stopped him. Rizu and other clan members all went to the hospital. Hinata Shaw didn't dare to stop and froze in place. The shadow of the past hung over her, making her look pale. Naruto-kun. Hinata's little face immediately lit up. She quickly stood up and came outside. Hinata, I'm here to play with you. Naruto's lips curved up into a warm smile. Then, Hinata Shaw felt like a light on her back. Familiar eyes stared at her back. Axia is here too. Naruto's voice made her tremble, then she turned around and greeted Naruto respectfully. Naruto-sama, you are here. Call out. The steaming steam from the running water spread in the air. Naruto sat at the low table, opposite Hinata, whose face was red and full of smiles. Hinata Shaw lowered her head and poured tea quietly on the side. With her humble posture, she fully fulfilled her duties as a housemaid. However, such a low profile was not because she wanted to fulfill her duties. It was really because of the huge psychological shadow that Naruto had caused on her. The Hyuga clan, who came from an old-fashioned family, had never been exposed to certain aspects of things. Naruto's behavior, which can be called a devil, directly caused severe psychological trauma to her. This made her look even more reserved in front of Naruto. In the eyes of the tribesmen, she showed more respect to the VIPs of the tribe. She even received praise from Hiyashi for her good service attitude. However, only Hyuga Natsumoto knew what she had experienced in private. Naruto, who climbed over the wall to enter the Hyuga residence, picked up a piece of dessert on the table and ate it casually. Even if he did nothing but just sat here and ate, Hinata opposite would feel extremely satisfied. Naruto-kun, eat more. Hinata blushed and looked happy. The shadow in her heart was dispelled because of Naruto's visit. At this time, she only felt the joy of, Naruto-kun came to find me. By the way, where are Aunt Yuyu and the others? I didn't see them when I climbed over the wall. Naruto asked casually. Mom is in the hospital. According to Hinata's explanation, Naruto learned about Hyuga Yuyu's current situation. This also fully shows that it is difficult to monitor all the places in Konoha in real time without a pair of white eyes. Is that so? Hinata Yuzuki is about to give birth, which means that the day of her death is not far away. Not long after giving birth to Hinata Hanabi, she passed away with her body rapidly deteriorating. In order to fulfill his oath to save Hinata's mother, Naruto decided to continue to optimize his technique. He clapped his hands and got rid of the snack residue. He took a sip of tea. Hinata, if you have time, let Shaw go to my place. There are some places that I can't reach. Naruto made his request. Hinata, who was in her eyes, of course agreed. No problem. Hinata Shaw. This hurt Hinata Shaw on the side. She really didn't want to have anything to do with Naruto anymore. However, she was sold by the eldest lady of the main family. Hinata Shaw, who looked miserable, felt sad in her heart, and was extremely worried but couldn't escape. She was so anxious that she almost cried, but suddenly heard Naruto let out a low cry. Oops. The spilled tea splashed on Naruto's clothes. This scene made Hinata slightly stunned, and then she said, Asha, take Naruto to the bathroom to wipe it off. In Hinata's view, this is a necessary etiquette and handling method, and she is very familiar with this kind of thing. However, hearing Hinata Shaw's ears sounded like a reminder of death. The maid subconsciously looked at Naruto and immediately noticed the glint in Naruto's narrowed eyes. She understood immediately. I'm doomed. Dragging her extremely heavy body, she slowly stood up from the tatami. Naruto-kun, please. After whispering, she lowered her head and went to the bathroom with Naruto. That's great. Hinata looked at Naruto's back, already imagining how the two of them would play, practice, and even leave Naruto at home to eat. Snap. The bathroom door closed. Naruto walked to the sink and turned on the faucet. Naruto-sama, let me help you. Hinata Natsu had quick eyes and quick hands, and immediately stepped forward, but Naruto grabbed his wrist. The huge power made her almost scream out subconsciously. However, the red light igniting in Naruto's eyes made her stop silently. Naruto spoke. During the days when Mao Yuxian was at his home, it was not like he did nothing. From beginning to end, after many experiments, we finally found a feasible path. Yang release plus 9 tails chakra fuses to create a new peva. When used on the human body, at first glance, it will cause the kind of frenzied results that Azuki Shion has for several days. In fact, the incident of Mao Yuxian drinking milk should also be taken into consideration. As a result of practicing Yang escape, his body has changed. This in turn changes the properties of some substances in the body. Through experiments on Shi Yan, we learned that reducing the dose is possible. And the method is also very simple. Use the new peva directly on people without touching it with the palm of your hand. Rather, refer to the injection of intercolumn cells. Add yang release directly to the milk, in the form of ninjutsu. This is similar to the input function of Hashirama's cells, or the integration of the tailed beast's flesh and blood into the human body. Yang escape can greatly expand the effectiveness of milk as a drink. So, you only need to use Yang escape milk to complete the dose reduction, and at the same time it plays a filtering role, reducing the level of madness, and ultimately allows people to complete the input while maintaining sanity. Here, it is referred to as the output of vitality, or the granting of vitality. And are the ninjas of the Hyuga clan different from ordinary people? This requires some experimentation. The separated maid Hinata Natsu is the best experimental material. Axia, Naruto's deep voice sounded. Have you heard of the fable of the two peaches and the baguette? Of course Hinata Shaw didn't know, and she didn't want to know. She shook her head hard, a painful expression appeared on her beautiful face. However, Naruto had made up his mind to save Hinata's mother, so how could he give up? Plop. Naruto pulled hard and Hinata fell to her knees instantly. Well, she groaned in pain. When he knew that there was no possibility of escape, his subconscious thoughts emerged. The maid's white teeth were clenched, and her face showed expressions of disgust, resistance, sadness, and other emotions, which finally merged into beautiful colors. Then, let's get started. Naruto is about to start explaining the fable of the two peaches and the baguette to Hinata Natsu. With the rustling sound, Naruto took out the prepared props. This is baguette, French bread, that is. Then, hiss, fruit appears. Naruto, these are two peaches. Hinata Natsu. Then, Naruto combined them, two peaches. French stick. Hey, Hinata Natsu. Wow, the sound of water from the faucet covers everything. Hinata sat outside, still immersed in fantasy. The corners of her mouth curled up, and she couldn't help laughing in the end. She had completely forgotten about her mother and sister, and only the figure of her sweetheart was in her heart at the moment. The distant ghost country. After learning that his subordinate's operation failed and the group was almost wiped out, the young daimyo was furious. But at least I got some useful information. According to intelligence, Konoha's ninjas should cooperate with each other. It was the ninja village of Konoha that prevented them from taking back the Miko. Although the monsters will revive every once in a while, it is not completely traceable. The precise date is even more nonsense. But Konoha just picked up the Miko. This fully shows that Konoha's spies have infiltrated into the kingdom of demons. Making this inference doesn't help anything and only makes people angrier. No matter. After 1,000 years, humans will always be a little flexible. The old demon's voice echoed in the hall. After surviving for thousands of years, witches will die one after another. This time the Miko has suddenly changed, which is also a kind of fun and challenge. What's next? The young daimyo asked after he calmed down. Since becoming the Jinchuriki of the demon, he has relied more and more on the demon's strength and wisdom. 1,000 years of survival experience is not for nothing. Well, give my power to your subordinates, and then, send them to Konoha to take back the Miko and the next Miko. The demon used clever language and did not say that he wanted to kill the witch and the next witch, because this will arouse the disgust of the daimyo. After all, those two women, one is his wife and the other is his daughter. Why don't we do it ourselves? The daimyo was puzzled. The demon has taken back his body and soul, and is inhabiting his own body with royal blood. In theory, the power will be stronger. As long as we summon the immortal ghost army, wouldn't everything be settled? Having said that, the demon shook his head, obviously having a different opinion. The situation has changed. Konoha has obtained a Miko. If we launch an attack rashly, it will only benefit Konoha. The Miko has a guardian barrier, which can cooperate with Konoha's defense to protect the integrity of that village. When the time comes, other desperate ninja villages will attack us directly. Facing attacks from multiple countries, the Kingdom of Ghosts is unable to bear it. Even if Chi attacks Konoha alone, he will be blocked by the large number of Konoha ninjas. So the best plan is to send someone to capture the Miko. After listening to the demon's analysis, the young daimyo felt that it was very reasonable. Then do this. Yellow Spring. The daimyo called his loyal subordinate by name. Your Highness the daimyo. The long-haired Huang Quan knelt on one knee, dressed in robes, and looked more like a powerful minister than a ninja. The young and handsome Huang Quan is not as old as he was during the Shippuden period in the original work. At this time, he was completely high-spirited. Daimyo. Next, I will give you the power of the devil. Hi, thank you so much. Huang Quan immediately lowered his head, trembling all over, and his gratitude to the daimyo was beyond words. The next moment, he stood up and opened his robe, revealing his strong body. Then, he took out one of Lin Liang's many scalpels hanging on the inside of his clothes, and stabbed it straight into his body. Laugh. As the scalpel continues to make cuts, no blood could be seen in the open wound. Instead, it was a faint purple scene that looked like an alien space. Dark medical ninjutsu. This is a byproduct of the ninjas from the Kingdom of Ghosts studying the power of monsters. It can turn the human body into something extremely weird, breaking away from the shackles of the human body. So, the daimyo sitting in his seat stood up and stretched out his hand. Purple chakra light shone in his palm, and soon spurted out, turning into a long purple dragon. The dragon with red eyes roared and flew towards Huang Quan, and got into his split chest. Huang Quan, who screamed in pain, was hit by the force and fell back several meters. He stopped, took a breath, and immediately sewed his chest shut with surgical thread. Immediately afterwards, a faint purple light lit up on him, like a flame. The huge monster power swept through his body, making him feel the expansion of power. Go, bring my wife and daughter back from Konoha. The daimyo waved his hand. Huang Quan bowed his head and resigned. Afternoon in Konoha. Naruto arrived at a surveillance point. Looking down from the rooms in this building, you can easily see the scene in the courtyard. The Uchiha ninjas formed a queue and were closely protecting the Miko and her daughter Shion. Shion, who was playing in the yard, and the Miko who accompanied her, did not notice the observer in the dark. It seems that Konoha's high-level officials still have their thoughts in mind. Naruto touched his chin and looked at the other figures. In addition to the ninjas of the Uchiha clan, there is also a small team protecting the Miko. The team headed by Yuhi Hong is very dedicated. Why not Asuma? Got it. Asuma ran away, so only Kurenai Yuhi was left. It will take many years for Asuma to come back. Looking at the curly-haired, red-eyed Kunoichi in the distance, Naruto's eyebrows moved slightly. Then, a familiar figure came into Naruto's eyes. Uchiha Spring. She was still a genin, and seemed to have been given the task of accompanying him. She brought towels and other daily necessities for a while, and played with Ziwan for a while. She should be responsible for taking care of the daily life of the Miko, mother and daughter. At this time, the witch had also taken off her sacred robe and put on ordinary home clothes. It made her look like a beautiful lady. It's just the noble temperament exuding from her body that makes her fundamentally different from real ordinary people. Its extraordinary features can be seen at a glance. Whis! Hinata Natsu groaned in pain. Naruto stretched out his hand and held her head, and the latter's voice suddenly became quieter. After eating at Hinata's place at noon and leaving, Hinata Natsu was delivered on time in the afternoon. The filial Hinata doesn't care about her mother and sister at all. In her opinion, cleaning her sweetheart's room is more important. And Hinata Shaw quickly used her white eyes to locate the Miko's position just as she had ordered. I also came here by the way. As for this room, of course it was Shion who arranged it. There are many places that Anbu can control, and this is one of them. Hyugaoka is my eyes, Uoyuki Shion is my hands and feet. Naruto grinned happily. With Hinata's Byakugan, what else could be hidden from his own observation? And with Shion's identity as the ANBU's helper, what secrets can't be revealed? He looked at Shion playing, then at Izumi Uchiha who was accompanying him, and then at Kurenai Yuhi who was standing guard. Finally, Naruto locked his gaze on the Miko's noble face. Immediately, Naruto accelerated the speed of using Yang Release. Hinata Natsu. Wow. Knock knock knock. Not long after, there was a knock on the door. Naruto, who was practicing while staring at the yard, suddenly increased the speed of performing the Yang Release technique. Woo! Hinata Shaw's eyes widened, and her expression of disgust turned into surprise. Because it was obvious that she realized what was going to happen next. She stretched out her hands, trying to push Naruto away. However, how could Naruto let the plan fail? Then, under the forceful pushing of the pretty maid, Naruto released Yang Chakra into the milk. This drink containing special chakra power was drank directly by her. Snap! With Naruto's hard push, Hinata Shaw's kneeling figure suddenly leaned back. Boom! Cough cough cough. The pretty maid who fell to the ground had no time to taste the pain of the impact and wanted to vomit out the milk. However, the drink fused with Yang Chakra has a strong ability to be absorbed by the human body. In an instant, it was completely absorbed by her body and there was no way to spit it out. Hinata Shaw, who thought she had drunk poison, couldn't stop retching. She staggered up and quickly went to the bathroom next to her. Wow! The tap sounded. The pretty maid ignored her image and started drinking tap water. Woo! Gouda! However, her method of neutralizing toxins in drinking water is destined to be whimsical. Naruto straightened his collar a little and opened the door. Squeak! The beautiful figure of Azuki Shion wearing an Anbu uniform appeared in front of him. Compared to the time when she visited Hayate from Konoha Hospital a few days ago, there are some visible changes in Yugao now. Her body became slimmer, her curves more attractive, and she seemed more mature. Her skin, which was originally as white as porcelain, was now as translucent as snow. Just one look at it makes you want to kiss her. It can be said that she exudes the seductive power of a girl all over her body. Naruto, I'm ready. Azuki Yugao spoke, her voice full of gentleness. The so-called ready means that her strength has undergone earth-shaking changes in the past few days. With the nourishment of Yang Dun plus nine-tailed chakra, Azuki Yugao's strength has risen. The terrifying tailed beast of the nine-tailed can benefit everyone with just a little power. I remember in the original work, Kakashi had an accurate description. He said, wearing the nine-tailed beast coat, his divine power has increased by at least 3 times. From here, we can see that the nine-tailed is so terrifying, and its power is indeed too dangerous. After all, Hashirama Senju can't lend his power to others, but the nine-tailed can be used as if it doesn't cost money. Of course, his own Yang Dun is also extraordinary. As the reincarnation of Ashura Chakra, the nature of his own Yang Dun is completely different from others. If we use the level of ninja to describe the quality of chakra, then, my Yang attribute chakra is at least the potential of the 6 paths level. It makes no sense that Azuki Yugao would not become stronger after receiving 2 forces at the same time. This also makes Naruto very happy and confirms that his way of saving is right. Although Azuki Yugao used too much medicine, it did work. As for Hyuga Sha, it was diluted and only the Yang escape milk drink was used to check the effect. Well, let's go out. Naruto was going to the yard to check the progress of Azuki Yugao. Click. The door closed. After the two left, Hyuga Sha in the bathroom spit out tap water. No matter how good a normal person is at drinking, it is impossible for him to drink several liters of water in one breath. The consequence of drinking too much is to spit it out in the opposite direction. However, what made Hyuga Sha desperate was that there was no trace of the milk fed by Naruto in the tap water she spit out. Why, like this, ooh. The next moment, the change came. Hinata Sha's slender and tight body, which had been trained in soft fist, began to tremble. An unimaginable heat rose from her body. Hot, so hot. Hinata Sha murmured and got up from the floor with difficulty. She held the wash basin and then touched the bathroom door handle. After staggering to the living room, she was aimless and like a headless fly, and could only fall sideways with a thud. Then, it meandered on the ground. The endless heat made her body extremely hot, even her face. Stars began to appear before my eyes. Excessive vitality will cause such an effect. She is a normal healthy human being, so naturally she does not need extra life force. However, this situation is forced. Woo! A line of clear tears flowed from her eyes. She pursed her lips and could only endure. Backyard. Naruto had already opened up his stance and faced off against Uesugi Shion. Start. As Naruto jumped up, he ran towards Uesugi Shion. The latter reacted immediately. The two of them continued to compete with each other in physical skills, adding their legs and feet together. Uesugi Shion was able to respond to Naruto's offensive with ease at this time. Oh, Naruto raised an eyebrow and his pupils turned into vertical ones. Initially using the power of 9 tails. Then, the two clashed again, and at this time Uesugi Shion began to fall into a disadvantage. After all, her strength was not as good as Naruto's. But it barely has the speed to respond. At this point, the two stopped, and Naruto nodded with great satisfaction. Not bad, the strength has at least improved by 1 level. In particular, there are 3, 6 or 9 levels of Jonin. Maoyu Shion is considered the goalkeeper. Her strength can only increase naturally with the passage of time and age. These are the rules of the ninja world. But at this moment, the extra power Naruto gave her made her even stronger. The strength has almost reached the level of special Junin such as Takashi Rado and Yamashiro Aoba. The strongest among the special Junin are Shiranui Genma and Morino Ihiki. Naruto believed that as long as he Uesugi Shion a few more times, she would definitely be able to surpass these two. Naruto, thank you even more. Maoyu Shion wore her mask sideways, revealing a beautiful smile. At first glance, it seems normal. But in fact, her personality and thinking have been changed. Naruto preferred to call it pollution. Uzumaki Naruto, you twisted her thinking. Kyuubi made a judgment in disbelief. Even if it is it will at most make the Jinchuriki go berserk and add a temporary buff. Uzumaki Naruto, this devil brat, completely twisted her. No, Kyuubi, don't talk nonsense. Naruto started with another classic mantra. Just when Naruto was about to continue making up nonsense, Kyuubi snorted, forget it, you have the most bad things in your belly, no one is worse than you. Even though Kyuubi saw through something, Naruto still decided to keep pretending. Without hypocrisy, can you still be called the protagonist? So, Naruto said, Kyuubi, you misunderstood me. I actually want to save everyone. As long as Sister Shion becomes stronger, Brother Hayate will not die in the future. Forget it, you don't understand anyway. Kyuubi. HMPH. Shi Yan, whose thinking was distorted, was naturally polluted. But, pollution can also be divided into positive and negative aspects. Naruto believes that he is the protagonist, kind in the righteous party. Then, Shion's situation can be called, good fall. Sister Shion, I will help you improve your strength even more in the future. Naruto gave a further warning. Shion's smile became even brighter, feeling that Naruto was extremely kind. Thank you very much, Naruto. She thought that becoming stronger with Naruto's help would also be helpful to her career. Maybe it won't take long before he can compare to Tenzo. He is also a member of Anbu Team 6 and is similar in age to Tenzo, but the other person is a real master. Naturally, Shion is somewhat envious and compared to him. Ahem, what did you do to me? At this time, the door to the backyard opened again. Hinata Sha stumbled out. She looked through her body through her white eyes, but found no trace of toxins. The only thing he observed was that his physical strength and chakra became stronger. To put it simply, without pollution, it becomes pure and powerful. Nothing, I just share my life force with you through Yang Escape. Naruto told the truth without hesitation. There are many people who can perform Yang Release. What will happen to me, Uzumaki Naruto? Could someone else come over and dissect me? Well, Hinata Natsu was stunned for a moment. Then she realized that things were ridiculous, because there was no one sharing Yang Escape through cow's milk. Watch your tone. Naruto's tone suddenly turned cold. From now on, your eyes are my eyes. The strategic significance of Hinata's Byakugan will allow him to see every detail of Konoha. Swish. Naruto moved and disappeared. When Hyuga Sha reacted, Naruto had already grabbed her chin. Hyuga Sha, who was dragged to her knees on the ground, couldn't help but let out a wail, woo. At this moment, she felt as if her chin was about to be broken. Naruto looked directly at her face and looked into her eyes. A needle-like red light met with white eyes. Simple Yang Escape. Yang Escape is not simple. He did lie. Come, I'll show you something good. Naruto dragged Hyuga Sha into the house. After closing the backyard door, Naruto and Hyuga Sha came to the bathroom. Because the faucet was turned on randomly before, there were traces of tap water everywhere on the floor. Come. Naruto stopped, still holding her chin in his hand. The pretty maid grabbed randomly with both hands, and finally squatted down with the wall. The milk injected with Yang Escape penetrated Hyuga Sha's body and caused her to change. She drank a drink at the Hyuga base this morning, and once before. Twice. What does that mean? As soon as Naruto raised his hand, Hyuga Sha stood up from her squatting position. Without waiting for her to stand up straight, Naruto stretched out his right hand again. As he touched her, Naruto began to seal with his right hand, but he only sealed for a moment and then pulled it back. Hyuga Sha was stunned when she was suddenly touched. She didn't understand what was going on yet. Her chakra responded to Naruto's seal gesture. Kai, chi chi chi, Hyuga Sha's body suddenly arched back. That's right, Naruto was imitating Red Bean to use Orochimaru's body to seal, the technique of killing two snakes. That is, the same as what he did to Yugao. Now he used it on Hyuga Sha. The corresponding technique directly let the pretty maid release the water ninjutsu. Hee. Watching Hinata Sha fall backwards, hit her head against the bathroom wall, and finally fall to pieces, Naruto grinned and showed a happy smile. It made a nice sound. Naruto laughed. Hinata's pretty maid's cry sounded like heavenly music to Naruto's ears. Hinata Sha fell to the ground, her white eyes rolled up. Soon, crystal tears flowed again. 4 hours later. The Uchiha ninja changed shifts. Hinata Sha knelt on the floor, blindfolded. She dared not move, and reported what happened on the scene in a low voice. Naruto sat cross-legged by the window, comparing what he saw with his naked eyes with what Hinata Sha said. On the side, Azuki Yugao stood there, like a guardian. More like Uzumaki Naruto's subordinate, Hinata Sha thought. Although she felt weird, she didn't dare to talk nonsense anymore. According to Naruto's instructions, she became the other party's eyes. Too easy to mess with. Naruto watched the sun set with satisfaction. After 4 hours of cooperation, the 3-person team is already perfect. The eyes are initially available, and there is also a hand and foot. Hinata Sha is responsible for monitoring everything she wants to see. And Azuki Yugao, naturally, followed her orders and carried out all the tasks. In this way, the matter is resolved. Whether it is the matter of the monsters or the Uchiha clan, including Konoha and the entire village, they will be under her control. Even if the plot continues to change, she can adjust it at any time and will not worry about it. The Uchiha clan's residence. Makoto is preparing dinner at home. Seiko followed her busying around, but did not run out, but stayed at home honestly. The reason why she didn't go to play with Naruto was entirely because her brother was too strict. I don't know if it's an illusion. My brother seems to have a lot of hostility towards Naruto. Just like other villagers. This must be because my brother doesn't understand Naruto. Seiko thought. This kind of thing can't be rushed, it has to be slowly, and my brother will find the advantages of Naruto and allow me to play with him. Itachi. The voice of Uchiha Shisui came from the yard. Seiko quickly stuck her head out. She saw Shisui hurriedly calling her brother away. What happened? Your brother has joined the Anbu. Makoto, who was cooking, said to her daughter. Really? Brother is so awesome. Seiko responded in a surprised tone. Anbu, those guys wearing masks, appearing and disappearing mysteriously. I guess I'll miss dinner. Makoto thought for a moment and said. That's perfect, I'm going out too, to see the Makoto everyone is talking about. Seiko washed her hands, picked up the package and ran out. This kid actually went to find Naruto. Seiko likes to be with Naruto recently. Quote. Makoto smiled. She thought it was a good thing. Because this is exactly what Fugaku, herself, and even Kushina wanted back then. No matter how the future develops, the fact that Seiko will be with Naruto cannot be changed. So, let her get along well with Naruto according to the child's wishes. Outskirts of the Uchiha clan's residence. Shisui sat on a chair in the tea stall, talking to Itachi with a serious face about something. Itachi, I learned from the Hokage that you will be transferred to Danzo's command later. Shisui was worried about this because it was not a good thing. Danzo is the commander of the Anbu, and in theory he controls all the Anbu. But there is also a special one in the Anbu team, called Hokage's Direct Anbu. Now the Hokage has placed Itachi under Danzo. What does this mean? Is there a problem? Itachi, who has not yet realized the seriousness of the problem, does not think there is anything wrong. Danzo is a high-ranking official of Konoha, commander of the Anbu, assistant to the Hokage, elder of Konoha. He has so many titles, no matter how you look at him, he is a member of the Hokage lineage. Shisui. Danzo is known as the darkness of ninja. His darkness is definitely not something we should be exposed to. What darkness or not, Shisui, you are a little too gentle. Itachi was about to say this when a call came from the side. Itachi. Shisui-san. Quote. The girl who waved and said hello, with a beautiful face and gentle characteristics, was Izumi. Izumi had been a genin for a while, and it looked like she had just returned from a mission. Let's talk slowly when we have time. Shisui stood up and patted Itachi's shoulder. The worry in his eyes was easily captured by Itachi. After Shisui left, Izumi came over and asked for a cup of tea, and then began to talk about her mission. When Itachi learned that Izumi's mission was to take turns to take care of the daily life of the Miko and her daughter, he couldn't help but frown. Because Izumi was obviously very excited and talked about those daily things, she didn't realize the dangers of the ninja world. The mission to protect the Miko was to prevent the ninjas from the demon country from attacking. The fighting style of the ninjas in that country was very ancient and cruel, and it was a different style from the current ninjas. The team led by Asuma suffered a lot at their hands. Izumi. Itachi couldn't help but interrupt Izumi, who was talking, or acting like a spoiled child. Because he was a straight man, he just thought it was noisy. Why do you want to be a ninja? Itachi asked indirectly, and got to the essence by raising a question. Izumi. To become a ninja, you have to face constant death and all kinds of painful things. Such memories are not what a girl like you should experience. To some extent, like his father who is a traditional male chauvinist, Itachi is also the type who favors boys over girls. Of course, except for his sister Seiko. Because, my father is a ninja. Izumi tried to explain the reason. Father is a ninja, so you have to be a ninja too. When Itachi's sight caught a glimpse of his sister running out of the tribe gate, carrying a package in her hand, he couldn't help but get excited. Sister, where is she going? Holding a gift in her hand. The first thing Itachi thought of was that yellow-haired, dangerous fox demon boy Uzumaki Naruto. Itachi's suddenly passionate tone sounded like a criticism to Izumi. She couldn't help but cry and said, I want to walk the same path as the person I like. Is that not okay? It was no less than a confession. It was really hard for such a thin-skinned girl to say such words. Although Izumi and I have known each other since childhood and have grown up together, Itachi has never said a word of confession. Goodbye. With tears in her eyes, Izumi showed a forced smile, which was her modesty. Then, she shed a string of tears and left the tea house. Itachi's words made her more determined to be a good ninja, work hard to become stronger, and let Itachi no longer look down on her. Izumi, who was originally planning to go home, ran straight to the edge of the village and returned to take care of the Miko and her daughter. But Itachi was thinking in his heart, where is his sister? Naruto's family. Hey. After running a long distance, Seiko didn't feel tired. On the contrary, she felt that her motor nerves were getting more and more developed recently. Could this be the legendary, the one who keeps company with the red becomes red, the one who keeps company with the black becomes black? I hope I won't become as stupid as Uzumaki Naruto because I'm too close to him. Uzumaki Naruto. Knock knock knock. Seiko knocked on the door. Naruto's voice came from the terrace. Seiko held the handrail of the stairs with one hand and looked up to the second floor. Oh, that guy is there. Jumping up, stepping on the handrail of the stairs, Seiko jumped up in one step. Then, with a smile on her face, Seiko saw a certain Hyuga maid who was cleaning the windows. Ah, this is. Chapter 91. Her heart skipped a beat. Why does Uzumaki Naruto have an extra Hyuga maid in his house? I accidentally saved the Hyuga clan before. In order to thank me, they sent people over regularly to help me clean. Naruto explained with a naive expression. To Zuozi's ears, this speech sounded like a bragging statement. Oh, without breaking Naruto's skin, Zuozi knew that this boy had a very strong self-esteem and loved to talk big. Here, it's for you. Seiko presented the souvenir. Of course, this time it was still made by my mother. Because she, Uchiha Seiko, wants to become a powerful ninja, and her cooking skills are just so-so. Boots. Naruto took it and smiled. Looking at Naruto chatting with Seiko, Hinata Natsu, who was cleaning the windows, just felt that Naruto Uzumaki, the devil, had deceived too many people. Both Hinata-sama and the youngest daughter of the Uchiha Fugaku family were deceived by him. No, everyone. The idea of telling others the truth came to mind, but Hinata quickly realized in despair that this was simply impossible. Because no one will believe what they say. This made her feel even more desperate and depressed. Okay, it's getting late, I'm going home first. After agreeing to something with Naruto, Seiko turned around and ran away. About 10 seconds later, Naruto looked away from Sako's almost disappearing figure and turned to look at another visitor. Sako's older brother, Itachi Uchiha. Itachi stood on the terrace with an extremely unkind expression. After following my sister all the way, and finally finding out that she came to this Huangmao's home again, anyone would be very angry. Uzumaki Naruto. Itachi spoke coldly. You are not allowed to touch my sister from now on. Why? Naruto immediately looked bewildered. Hyuga, who was cleaning the glass, couldn't hear the words outside. She couldn't help but move a little slower, and watched curiously as the Uchiha brothers and sisters appeared one after another. As for Shiyan, who was standing on the high platform, overlooking this scene, her body couldn't help but tense up. I can see the malice in your eyes. Your disguise has no effect in front of me. Itachi's words were half true and half false. After all, his innate skill is to use words to fool others. In the original work, Yakushi Kabuto already had evidence. Really, but it was your sister who took the initiative to contact me. Naruto changed his expression in a second, and his tone changed into a demonic eloquence. Now that you have seen through it, I will stop pretending. And, I refuse, because what I, Uzumaki Naruto, like the most is to say no to those self-righteous guys. The next morning, Naruto stretched. The sun has risen outside, and today is another good day. Yesterday evening, the meeting with Uchiha Itachi ended on bad terms. Being submissive is not my style, Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto thought. Since Itachi has decided that he is the evil Huangmao, he will fight Huangmao to the end. As for offending Itachi, he doesn't even let me touch Zuozi anymore. How can I bear this? Isn't the story of Naruto in this world the story of Naruto Uzumaki and Seiko? Do you have the ability to let Amaterasu bite me? Naruto knew very well that Itachi would not be able to activate the Mangekyo until Uchiha Shisui died. Of course, there are exceptions. Assuming that he did something extreme to Seiko, Itachi might not turn on the kaleidoscope directly. However, I have no reason to do extreme things to Zuozi, at least not now. Taking out the souvenir that Seiko brought yesterday, pouring a glass of Konoha's 82-year-old milk, Naruto began to enjoy this special breakfast. After eating, according to the information collected yesterday, Naruto temporarily changed his mind and prepared to go to the Miko's hotel. Didn't Itachi not allow him to come into contact with Seiko and show his hostility towards him again? Then follow your own thinking and plan, which is the third way. Use my own ingenuity, Uzumaki Naruto, to save Uchiha. On the edge of Konoha, the annex where the Miko stayed, several Uchiha ninjas were patrolling with solemn expressions. The other team led by Kurenai Yuhi formed a sharp contrast. In the courtyard surrounded and protected by everyone, the witch and her daughter Ziwan can naturally live a stable life. Shion is playing in the yard. Uchiha Izumi was watching over him. The witch knelt down under the eaves and looked at her daughter with a gentle look on her face. When Naruto arrived, he saw this scene. Naruto, who was wandering around outside, quickly attracted the attention of others. There was a case of saving Seiko first, and the Uchiha ninjas generally had a better impression of Naruto. They decided to let Izumi Uchiha go over and ask what was going on instead of expelling him directly. It's Naruto. Uchiha Kwan walked out and saw Naruto with a shy expression. Sister Kwan, good morning. Naruto scratched his head, a glint flashing in his eyes. At close range, you can better size up the opponent. The Uchiha girl in front of her was beginning to take shape. The slender figure exudes the fragrance of a girl. She is several years younger than Shi Yan, and she can be said to be in bloom, with a childish beauty. Commonly known as Otome, her big peach blossom eyes made her look very innocent. However, the tear mole under his eyes adds a touch of charm to it. There is no doubt that this is a girl who can arouse other people's desire. The long, silky black hair that hangs down her back proves that she is in good health and shows the strength of her Uchiha bloodline. As an Uchiha hybrid, Izumi Uchiha inherited the best aspects of Uchiha. She is beautiful, talented, and likewise, she must be rich in emotions, otherwise how could she open the Sharingan? Naruto, what's wrong with you? Kwan saw the confusion in Naruto's eyes. I heard everyone say yesterday that the Miko-sama came to our Konoha, and I felt a little curious. Naruto acted more shy. The words, "I'm sorry," are almost written on my face. The curiosity of a child. Uchiha Izumi was immediately relieved and signaled to the clansmen. Several clan members looked at me and I looked at you. Finally, the leader, Uchiha Inari, shook his long flowing hair and planned to let them go. Witches are certainly valuable. The nine-tailed Jinchuriki is even more of a treasure to the village. In terms of emotion and reason, Naruto's importance was actually far higher than that of the Miko. If a child is curious and wants to see a witch, then he should meet her, and he won't lose a piece of meat. Thank you all Uchiha. Naruto immediately blushed and smiled brightly. Uchiha Inari nodded slightly, showing kindness to Naruto. In fact, the Uchiha clan had already held a meeting within the clan. The leader of the clan, Uchiha Fugaku, had long decided to let Seiko and Naruto get along well. Anahuo, Yashura, Tiehuo and the other core staff all knew what this pull in operation meant. In order to increase Naruto's favorability, Uchiha Inari was of course happy to do this. When the strategy of physical revolution turns to Wairo, some seemingly humane behaviors will naturally occur. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki's favor keeps growing, but in the end, isn't he on our Uchiha side? In the history of the ninja world, Jinchuriki are closely related to the shadow. Being close to the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki is equivalent to being close to the Hokage. Naruto slowly walked into the courtyard and quickly attracted Yuhi Kurenai's attention. As another guardian team, Yuhi Kurenai is also guarding the Miko. And because she was influenced by her father, Yuhi Kurenai, since she was a child, Yuhi Kurenai's expression has always been unsmiling, old-fashioned and serious. Maybe her nature was not like this, but after years of self-restraint, she turned into a cold beauty. Why did you let him in? Kurenai Yuhi asked Uchiha Inari in a low voice. Dao Huo, who had long hair and narrow eyes, just smiled. Is there any problem? Shihihong was speechless for a moment. Uzumaki Naruto, the son of the Yondaime Hokage, you just let him come into contact with the Miko. Both of them are important VIPs, what if something goes wrong? HMPH, you underestimate that kid too much. He was the daughter of our Captain Fugaku and killed Loquat Juzang directly. Uchiha Inari brought out the facts. 2 children can kill Biwa Juzo. We are a bunch of adults standing here, can't we cooperate with the Nine Tails Jinchuriki? Yuhi Kurenai was completely stuck at this point. Finally, she could only snort coldly. I will report this matter to the Hokage-sama. Whatever. Inahori sneered. The Hokage-sama holds the son of the 4th Hokage very precious, and even does not hesitate to go to war with Kumogakure for this, you know nothing. Long-haired, short-sighted woman. Inahori's low shout came from behind to Naruto's ears and was heard by Naruto. Pausing slightly, Naruto walked into the depths of the courtyard. Miko-sama, hello. Naruto scratched his head, stood in front of the Miko, and greeted her. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he looked at her closely. How to say it? What a noble woman. Or, Shien's mother, so beautiful. If the Miko died, Shien would be sad. So Naruto secretly made up his mind to save Shien's mother. Konoha Hospital. The cry of a newborn broke the long light. Darkness fell. It was night time, and the medical ninjas who had been busy all night finally welcomed the birth of a newborn. However, facing the birth of a newborn, the Hyuga clan members did not have much joy on their faces. One reason was that the baby was a daughter. The other reason was that the head of the clan, Hyuga Yuzuki, had become weaker. Her lifespan was like a candle in the wind, and she might die at any time. Hiyashi's face was solemn, and his clenched fists proved his inner restlessness and his love for his wife. Mom. Hinata stood beside the bed, looking at her extremely weak mother. The once extremely beautiful mother now looked pale and looked like a sickly person. Hinata was very sad. She couldn't help but shed a few tears, thinking, if Naruto-kun was here, it would be great. Naruto-kun would comfort her, accompany her, and make her not sad. Quote. The maid standing beside Hinata was also trembling and shaking slightly. She lowered her head, making it difficult to see her face. Her clenched fingers, and the red back of her hands, neck and other exposed skin showed that she was very upset. Woo! She clenched her teeth, as if enduring something. Then, she slowly retreated. No one said anything about Hinata Shaw's behavior, and even thought that she was conscientious and loyal to the main family. It is normal to be sad to see the mistress become like this. However, no one knows the truth about why Hinata Shaw became like this. Hinata Shaw left the ward and gently closed the door. The trembling fingers were no longer stable. Hot, scorching. My body seemed to be burning. All this started from that time, when I went to Uzumaki Naruto's house. After drinking the milk drink infused with yang escape, I took in too much vitality and ended up like this. An indescribable feeling of heat rose from my body. This feeling was 1,000,000 times more uncomfortable than a fever. It was not a problem that could be solved by taking a cold shower. In the past few days, I had tried cold showers, or even a cold bath, but I couldn't get rid of the burning heat. The only way was to dissipate the heat in my body to the outside world. And to do this, I had to use the right means. Seal. Only by using seals and performing water escape ninjutsu to take away the heat in my body could I slightly relieve the pain caused by the burning in my body. There were almost no people in the corridor of the hospital late at night. Most of the medical ninjas and nurses had gone off work, and the patients who had been sick during the day had gone home, leaving only a few people here. This made the hospital empty, like a huge deep ice cave. White lights hung from the ceiling. Hyuga Shaw looked around and slowly pursed her lips. Finally, she left quickly, trotting all the way, and entered a single bathroom. Just as the door clicked shut, Naruto appeared from the corner of the corridor. First, he looked in the direction of the ward. The sound of a baby crying resounded inside. This means that Hanabi was born. That is, Hinata's sister. Soon, Naruto put his hands in his pockets and walked past the ward with a second-rate pace. The closed door made it impossible to detect Naruto's identity. The Hyuga people, who were mixed with sadness and joy, only focused on Hyuga Yuzuki and Hyuga Hanabi. So, Naruto quickly turned the corner and finally, came to the single bathroom that Hyuga Shaw entered and stood still. Woo! Hyuga Shaw let out a low moan of grief. She sat on the toilet, feeling sad about what she had experienced, and even more sad about what she was going to do next. The trembling raising and lowering of her arms proved that a fierce ideological struggle was going on in her heart. Her thinking remained clear from beginning to end, and was not distorted like Uoyuki Shien's. This is naturally because the life force she takes in is relatively pure. However, this kind of purity is relative. It didn't have any effect on the mind, but it had an impact on the body. Soon, the hot body sent out an urging signal. Hinata Shah's heart finally crossed, and he stretched out his right arm and started to form the seal directly. Most of the human body is composed of water. It is reasonable and scientific to use the release of water escape ninjutsu to discharge water and thereby take away heat. This is something that can be determined without rolling your eyes. At first, her seal formation speed was very slow and a little unfamiliar. After all, the Hyuga clan is proficient in soft fists and mainly uses blood inheritance limited body techniques. It was a great shame and humiliation for a Hinata to play ninjutsu, so Hinata's pretty face couldn't help but turn red. She thought about the culprit of everything, Uzumaki Naruto. Mixed expressions of disgust, hatred, disgust, began to emerge. And as the seal formation speed became faster and faster, she also entered a good state. Tisk. The first is the slightly weaker D-level water escape. Then, the silhouette quickly swayed out of the seal. Chi. A suppressed voice of humiliation burst out, and Hinata Natsu performed a powerful sea-level water escape technique. The water in the body is directly removed and sent to the outside world. The embodied water escape technique flushed the toilet, then hit the floor, and then flew to the door panel of the single bathroom. Hinata Natsu hated Naruto infinitely in her heart. Her eyes were fixed on the ceiling. The white light in the bathroom is bright and dazzling. Tears of humiliation flowed from his eyes. When I feel the surging and intense emotions that arise when I release the water release ninjutsu. Squeak. The bathroom door suddenly opened. Hinata Natsu, the maid, who looked extremely astonished, maintained her water escape posture and stared blankly at a certain yellow hair who suddenly appeared at the door. It's so late, what are you doing? Naruto looked at the pretty maid Hyuga who was practicing secretly in front of him, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. In Hinata Shah's eyes, this smile was like the smile of an abyss devil. It's so playful, ferocious, and full of cruel malice. Woo! The huge amount of emotions that followed, the wave of humiliation, instantly overwhelmed her. The other party's devilish smile seemed to be saying something. You've exposed everything, I've seen it all, I know it, you can't escape at all. Dark night. Except for the ninjas patrolling the walls of Konoha, the entire Konoha fell into silence. On this dark night, many figures were watching a dark village. The wind blew their hair, and the passing dark clouds obscured their figures. We finally arrived in Konoha. The ninjas of the demon country led by Huang Quan, under the orders of the daimyo of the demon country, came to recapture the current generation Miko and the next one. Invade directly, Lord Huang Quan, the subordinate asked. No, don't worry. Huang Quan shook his head, and with his pupils constricted, he could see something clearly. Konoha is surrounded by a huge spherical barrier. Judging from the nature of the barrier, it should be sensory. As long as it is touched, an alarm will sound. From the sky, to the surface, to the underground. Konoha's perception barrier is extremely large, wrapping the entire village to resist the invasion of others. Originally Huang Quan did not have this kind of observation ability. However, the power of the demon residing in his body took effect. He has been fighting against witches for thousands of years. The former is proficient in various sealing and enchantment techniques. Monsters naturally have a way of seeing through the correspondence. With the blessing of the power of the demon, the leaves in Huangquan's eyes are as clear as the veins of the patient's body in the eyes of a doctor. Investigate the information first, and then wait for opportunities to act. Although the power of the monster in his body has already sensed the location of the witch. However, considering Konoha's status as one of the 5 major ninja villages, it is better to be more cautious in actions. Then, Huang Quan stretched out his palm. Chakra of black and purple light burned with it. The eroded barrier silently opened a hole. But Konoha's perception class was completely unaware of all this. Huang Quan. Action. Yes. The rapid figures passed through the hole in the barrier and rushed towards Konoha in the darkness. Konoha Hospital. Naruto was now standing in front of the hospital bed, visiting Hinata Hazuki. Aunt Yuyu, don't worry, you will be fine. Naruto said seriously. Of course, children's words are unbridled. Hinata, Hazu and others did not think Naruto could save Hazuki. Combat power is fighting power, but the ability to save people is another matter. But the next words Naruto said immediately moved everyone present. My surname is somehow linked to that ethnic group. The relics left by my ancestors, the secret medicine formula recorded in them, may be useful. Naruto's naive words contained a huge amount of information. Hinata, Hazu and others immediately showed shocked expressions. Everyone looked at me and I looked at you, and they all saw the surprise in each other's eyes. Uzumaki Naruto is the son of the 4th Hokage. Kushina, the 4th generation Hokage's wife, is a real ninja of the Uzumaki clan. It would be reasonable if Naruto had a relic of Uzumaki in his possession. Whether it was given by Kushina to her children or given by Hokage-sama, it all makes sense. For a moment, Hinata, Hazu and others were frightened by Naruto, and there was no longer such contempt in their hearts. Under the gaze of everyone, Naruto suddenly scratched his head. Oh, the basement at home is a mess, and I have never been embarrassed to ask Kazuya to help sort it out. That scroll was thrown into a pile of debris. Yes, it might take a little time to find. Hinata, Hazu and others understood immediately, so he asked, Axia, you can follow Naruto-kun there and help search. Quote, exclamation mark, quote. Hinata Shaw, who lowered his head, instantly showed a bitter expression. She had just practiced water escape and was broken by Naruto. Now I have to follow him to his house, so late. Hinata Shaw no longer dared to think about what would happen next. Yes, the patriarch. In the end, she could only agree in despair and left with Naruto. Hinata Hiyashi took a deep breath and just hoped that things would develop for the better. But anyway, Naruto-kun, you are truly a nobleman of our Hyuga clan. Yes, everyone nodded. Father, I'm going to help too. Hinata suddenly made up her mind and ran out quickly. Seeing his daughter getting along well with Naruto, Hazu was very happy. If Naruto-kun and his daughter can succeed in the future, the Hyuga clan will definitely have a bright future. So of course he didn't stop it, but was happy to see it happen. Afterwards, Hinata looked at his weak wife on the hospital bed, held her hand and said, Hazuki, don't worry, everything will be fine, including your body. The dark night road soon became 2 people walking abreast, 1 person behind. Hinata and Naruto, who caught up, were talking and laughing, and the haze in the hospital was dispelled. Hinata Shaw, who was following behind, felt like she was stepping into a deeper abyss step by step. When the 3 of them returned to Naruto's house, they lit the lights. Wei Naruto said to Hinata, Hinata, we are going to the basement to look for the scroll. It usually takes a lot of time, and if we find it, we have to unlock the seal on it, so I will trouble you to help guard this place. Naruto said, Hinata, you stay outside and we will go down. Okay. Hinata nodded quickly. No matter what happens down there, Hinata, you must guard it well. Naruto's repeated instructions immediately made Hinata Shaw understand what she was about to encounter. Hinata nodded more vigorously. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, I will listen to you completely. Hinata is awesome. Naruto immediately gave a thumbs up. A compliment made Hinata's face flush and her head feel dizzy. Then Naruto opened the secret compartment leading to the basement and invited Hinata Shaw to go down for a tour. Looking at the dark passage, Hinata Shaw resisted very much, and her expression was even written on her face. But what can she do? I can only step into the darkness step by step. Click. Naruto jumped down directly, closed the secret compartment with his backhand, and locked it. When the lights in the basement came on, Hinata Shaw finally saw the structure inside. The basement is basically square, slightly rectangular. Unlike the messy appearance imagined, the basement is unusually tidy. You are the second outsider to come here. Naruto's tone suddenly became cold. Now that the 2 are alone, Naruto naturally stopped pretending. The second one. Just when Hinata Shaw was thinking about who the first outsider was, Naruto had already taken action. Start looking. Naruto signaled Hinata Shaw to start looking for the ancient scroll, the secret medicine formula used to treat Hinata Yuyu. Although Hinata Shaw was reluctant, she had to start looking for something. She opened the scroll and prepared to start looking from the beginning. Behind her, Naruto, who was standing in his original position, stared at the back of the pretty maid. Because of the tossing and turning these days, Hyuga Shaw naturally changed into a new set of clothes today. The new dark-lined home kimono that covers the wrists and ankles highlights the conservativeness. The pure white lace-made outfit covered on the outside adds a touch of temptation. The dark green ear-length short hair is trimmed meticulously. With a fair face. In the darkness, the companion-tailed beast slowly awakens. The monster nourished by the yang release chakra is unprecedentedly ferocious. It is more intimidating than 99.9% of its size. And Hyuga Shaw, who is looking for something, is naturally on guard against her back because she has been victimized many times. So, when she saw the silhouette projected on the wall of the basement, her face suddenly changed color. And with the rustling sound, Naruto began to try to seal from behind. Hyuga Shaw, who was forced to assist, slowly opened her eyes. Her body trembled slightly, and she subconsciously wanted to escape. Leave. I must leave here. She was really scared. I must escape, escape. So, out of extreme fear, Hinata Shaw turned around and slapped out. Soft fist. At this time, she didn't care whether Hyuga was noble or not. She just wants to escape. However, how could she be Naruto's opponent as her strength was only Chunin? So, in an instant, her soft fist was pushed away, and then she was punched in the abdomen by Naruto. Oh, Hinata Shaw fell to the ground in pain, her expression extremely painful. Looking at the pretty maid curled up on the ground, Naruto breathed slowly and heavily. The next moment, Naruto launched a counterattack. The companion-tailed beast comes out of the cage and bites the Hyuga maid in front of him. Hey! The terrifying offensive directly penetrated the Hyuga clan's defense. Quote! Hinata Shaw suddenly opened her white eyes. The bright red blood slowly flowed down. Tick, tick, she's hurt. What happened? For a moment, the pretty maid didn't react yet. Oh, Naruto's sigh of pleasure could already be heard. And soon, the accompanying tailed beast's biting began again. Woo! It was only then that Hinata Natsu let out a mournful cry, feeling extremely resistant and sad. As if he disliked her for being noisy, Naruto randomly picked up the piece of cloth someone had just dropped and stuffed it directly into her mouth. The sound had almost completely disappeared now, and was no more than the buzzing of mosquitoes. Isn't it much better this way? Naruto smiled. Okay, let's continue looking for the secret medicine formula together. Quote. Naruto pressed forward and began to search hard in the basement for a way to save Hinata Hazuki. The small body worked so hard that even Hinata Shaw, who was walking together, shed tears of emotion. Axia, I have to work harder. Oh, Naruto sped up his search for the treasure. At this time, Hinata, who was in the living room above, naturally heard some noise from below. But she kept Naruto's instructions in mind and decided to stay here and not cause trouble to Naruto. Naruto-kun, don't worry, I will take care of you. Hinata looked around, trying to guard the house and not let any factors affect Naruto's search. Time flies. The night passes and the morning comes. Early in the morning, Moonlight Gale made a table of delicious food. During the time he was discharged from the hospital, he was idle at home, and when he was idle, he began to think about further cooking skills. When his childhood sweetheart Uoyuki Shion came to sit down, Hayate took off his apron and chatted with Shion with a smile on his face. Shion, how are your missions these days? It's quite easy. Naruto helped me a little, and my strength improved a little. Shion was wearing a long skirt, exposing her snow-like arms and calves. Underneath the delicate face are equally delicate collarbones and white neck. He took one look and felt a little dry. So he immediately suppressed his thoughts and turned to look at the breakfast on the plate. Is that so? Then I have to thank Naruto. Naruto, who defeated Loquat Juzo, is already a person with great potential. In some ways, it can really help others improve. Shion, who was holding a spoon, scooped up a spoonful of soup and slowly brought it to her mouth. Open your red mouth and drink slowly. During this process, her movements exuded endless temptation. Hayate couldn't help but sigh. His green plum was really becoming more and more feminine. Ahem. At this moment, Hayate suddenly coughed. The blood-stained disease caused by his blood inheritance limit will continue to worsen his body. So what I told Naruto before that he could live for at least more than 10 years was not nonsense. Haifeng, are you okay? Shi Yan immediately put down the spoon and asked with concern. Same old. Hayate shook his head. Let's not talk about it anymore. I haven't thanked Naruto for saving me last time. No matter how you say it, being able to survive from Loquat Juzang's hands is indispensable for Naruto's help. I really don't know how to thank him. Don't worry, Hayate, I've already thanked him for you. Shion leaned forward and told Hayate that she had already thanked Naruto for him. Looking at the slender hand on the back of his hand, Hayate felt distracted again. The two of them have reached the age where they can talk about marriage. However, I am afraid that my body and lifespan cannot bring happiness to Shi Yan. So, that's fine. Hayate resisted the idea of formally proposing to Shi Yan, and then enjoyed breakfast in silence. No one knows about his own mind. On Shian's side, she also had a different mood. She remembered her agreement with Naruto that today she would have her second improvement in strength, and Shion felt very excited about it. Her body trembled slightly because of too much anticipation and happiness. The white and slender legs under the table slowly swayed a few times. Naruto's house. Opening the cover, Naruto walked out of the basement. Hinata had fallen asleep on the floor and she was sleeping soundly. Hinata, Hinata. She didn't wake up suddenly until Naruto called her name. Naruto-kun. It's dawn. Naruto-kun, sorry. Hinata, who felt extremely ashamed that she fell asleep, immediately blushed. She originally planned to stay awake all night, but unexpectedly she fell asleep. It's okay, we have found the formula for the secret medicine. Naruto happily told Hinata that he and Azia worked hard all night and finally found the formula. Next, it is time to go to the streets to buy medicine and prepare the secret medicine. That's it. Hinata instantly smiled with joy. Great, Mom is saved. What about Axia? Hinata didn't see Asha's figure. Aisha has been busy all night. She is too tired and dirty. She is too embarrassed to come out to see you, so let's go directly to the street. Aisha will come to us after tidying up. By the way, Hinata, what do you want for breakfast? Naruto quickly left the house with Hinata. Wait until the two of them leave. In the basement, the scene slowly emerged as the sun rose. The face of the weeping maid was desperate and sad, and her eyes were fixed on the ceiling above her head, as if there was something on it. Naruto and I had been busy all night long because we were looking for the formula, and it was true as Naruto said, he was dirty all over his body, even his hair was stained with dirt. Even the clothes were scratched by sharp objects, exposing her fair skin. She was tired, very tired. The maid who had been busy all night soon fell into a deep and unconscious sleep. What will happen tomorrow? She doesn't know. I only know that my life has completely collapsed. All of this starts from the dislike of Uzumaki Naruto at that time, the past that cannot be returned, and the future that is difficult to see clearly. And this is not the end. In the days to come, what awaits me will be endless hell. Thinking of his own separation status, Sui Jingtu has fellow tribesmen who admire him. In their eyes, the extremely standardized and beautiful themselves, the role model for everyone, and the object of admiration, have been ruined. The third second madness. An hour later, Naruto returned from shopping. A beautifully packaged jar, a convenient storage box, and some medicinal materials and grinding tools. This is all the items purchased. Next, you have to grind the medicinal materials, which is a delicate job. Naruto was the only one in the room. As for Hinata, I took her to Konoha Hospital while shopping. There was no movement in the basement. It was obvious that Hyuga Natsu fell into a deep sleep. There was no way. She was too exhausted last night. Just as Naruto was slowly grinding the herbs into powder, Azuki Yugao arrived. The so-called Uzumaki secret medicine is just a saying, but the medicine is real. The herbs in front of us are a trick. The real medicine needs to be collected on the spot. The essence of the companion-tailed beast is also called its blood. Through experiments on Hyuga Natsu, Naruto has determined that the essence of the companion-tailed beast can provide a lot of vitality to others. In other words, as long as the essence of the companion-tailed beast is mixed with these herbs, the so-called Uzumaki secret medicine can be made and pass the test. After listening to Naruto's explanation, Azuki Yugao, who came to work in the morning, smiled. Naruto, do you want my help? Saving Mistress Hyuga is a great thing. This is conducive to stabilizing the Hyuga clan, especially the personal emotions of the head of the Hyuga clan. The more soft spots, oh no, the more bonds, the more loyal Hyuga Hiyashi will be to the village. No, this matter should be done by Hyuga Sha. Naruto shook his head. As a maid of the Hyuga clan, how can she not contribute to her mistress? When Hyuga Sha wakes up, find a similar time and ask her to help receive the essence of the companion-tailed beast. Although this will harm herself. After all, the companion-tailed beast shares life with oneself, but it is better than letting Hinata's mother, die. It took about half an hour for Naruto to make all these medicines into powder, put them on the stove and add water to boil. When the stove was gurgling and steaming, Naruto, who had been busy for half a day, finally had some free time. The rest of the time is to wait for the soup to be boiled. Back in the living room, Naruto looked at Azuki Yugao, who understood. The second, strengthening, get ready. Quote, Naruto raised his hand, and the palm of his right hand ignited a dark chakra flame. This time, he improved the strength of Azuki Yugao, and directly passed it to her through the method of assisting seal. This can be regarded as an improvement on the face. I'm ready, Naruto-kun. Yugao's breathing quickened slightly. She stretched out her posture in the Anbu uniform, and her two slender long legs were outward facing to fix her lower body. Then, start. Naruto quickly sent out his right hand burning with dark chakra, and began the second strength improvement experiment on Azuki Yugao. Soon, Naruto's seal-making speed was almost a residual image. Yugao, who cooperated with Naruto to make seals, endured the erosion of the new peva of Yang Escape plus tailed beast power, and in an instant, she let out a frantic low roar of endurance. In order to alleviate the side effects of this violent power, Yugao instantly released water escape, and eliminated the toxins in the body by taking away the water in the body. Tisk, chi-chi-chi-chi, Shi-yan, oh. The sun slowly climbed up and then set again. At dusk, everything came to an end. Shi-yan's second strength enhancement ended. The soup was ready. Hinata Sha also took care of herself. As they did yesterday, the three of them came to the edge of Konoha and looked down at the residence of the Miko from the high building. When I was shopping today, I noticed something. Naruto touched his chin and sat on the floor. Uchiha Izumi was playing with Shion at this time. The Miko still had a gentle face, revealing nobility. The team led by Uchiha Inahori fought against Shihai Kurenai, and both sides refused to give in and protected the Miko. Naruto. Maybe, the enemy will attack tonight. Azuki Shi-yan stood behind Naruto and also looked down at the scene. She had improved her strength again, and her chakra continued to grow. Stamina, reaction, agility, everything was improving synchronously. I believe it won't be long before her strength reaches Jonin. The strong improvement in strength also brings absolute confidence. The whole person is heroic and much more sharp than before. Of course, he is also more easy to fall. Under the influence of Naruto, his thinking is more positive. Axia, next you observe the surroundings from all directions. Tonight, you will keep watch. Naruto's cold tone gave Hinata Sha a death order. The latter lowered his head, and the meaning of resistance on his body was much less. Like a flower watered after rain, she had less girlish breath and more mature breath. Slowly, she was transforming. Although she was unwilling, she could only accept it step by step, just like the seal of the bird in the cage on her forehead. Then, Naruto yawned, supported his head with one hand, and fell asleep on the floor on his side. The hands of the clock on the wall passed by 1 minute and 1 second. It was late at night. Hinata Sha observed the surroundings and opened the white eyes to observe every once in a while. She then looked around and found that the Anbu girl was still in high spirits. Then, Hyuga Natsu looked around again. The Byakugan's 359-degree observation angle allowed her to see everything in all directions as long as she turned her head. Someone is coming, Hinata Sha exclaimed. Naruto, who was lying on his side, opened his eyes. Is that so? Naruto stood up, and after Hinata Sha's explanation, he quickly knew the initial appearance of the invading enemy. Very good. Naruto shook his head. It's not in vain that I have been lurking for so many days. It's time to move my hands and feet. Of course, before that, Uchiha Inahori and Yuhi Kurenai need to make a little move and be the first wave of cannon fodder. After all, heroes always appear at the end. The towering rooftop. Huang Quan led 4 subordinates to come here. It sounds like a small number of people, but soldiers are more valuable than quantity. Sometimes quality is everything. Staring at the place where the Miko was staying in the dark night, Huang Quan smiled. Get ready. Purple-black chakra jumped out of his body, and then ran towards the 4 subordinates. Chakra, winding like a venomous snake, immediately drilled into their bodies. The subordinates who were blessed by the power of the demons began to shake. As the power took effect, they all had visible changes. The performers with hideous faces became like wearing masks. The enlarged pupils showed the color of the demons. Action. Start. With Huang Quan's order, the attackers in the dark night jumped to the target location. The attackers from the land of demons quickly ran to the courtyard where the Miko was. All this did not escape Naruto's eyes. With his own naked eyes and Hinata Shaw's extra white eyes, what else could he not know? There are attackers. The Uchiha ninjas discovered the intruders at the first time, worthy of their title of elite. In an instant, their first reaction was to inform the outside world. The flare was held in his hand and flew into the sky. But when the flare was about to rise, the enemy's ninjutsu shot it down directly. Wind style. Divine wind. The violent storm was like a tornado across the flat ground. The storm, which struck at a long distance with the power of breath, instantly crushed the flare. And this is the beginning. Fire style. Air floating death lotus. A fire style like a circus fire ring followed the wind style and merged into it. In an instant, the tornado turned into a storm that swept the entire courtyard. Jonin can usually master several types of chakra changes. However, the chakra released from their meridians has no attributes. Hinata Shaw opened her white eyes, causing veins to appear around her eye sockets. What's even more surprising is that these ninjas from the land of demons can actually use attribute changes that don't match the nature of their chakra. Is it the stimulant given to them by the 1,000-year-old demons? Naruto, who is familiar with the plot, understood it all at once. These demon country ninjas, with the power of the demons, can control the 5 basic attributes at will. Whoa! At this time, there was a scream. The weak ones who were burned and cut by the compound attribute ninjutsu flew into the sky first. In just the first round, the ninjas from the ghost country defeated most of the guards. The abnormal intensity of their spells simply exceeded the normal range. Fire escape. Seeing this, Uchiha Inari directly used the fire escape ninjutsu that the Uchiha clan is proud of. The fireball technique he spits out has a huge range. He actually used a single attribute to offset the aftermath of the enemy's spell. But the next moment, a long stream of water flew over. Water release. Water dragon technique. A large amount of underground water flowed out of the bursting ground. These currents condense into a long dragon. A giant water dragon with a length of at least 20 meters extinguished the powerful fireball. Uchiha Inabi suddenly opened his eyes. Between life and death, he showed his strength as a Jonin. With the help of the Sharingan, he narrowly avoided the water dragon's attack. Can't beat. Hinata Shaw judged the situation at once. The other party only sent out 5 people and dispersed the guards with extraordinary strength. What is even more worrying is that the long-haired man, Huang Quan, who is suspected to be the leader, did not take action. On the opened road, Huang Quan slowly raised his feet. The next moment, his body flickered, as if shrinking to an inch, and he approached the witch's residence. At this time, Uchiha Izumi rushed out from inside and showed the Uchiha clan's proud Sharingan. Oh, nice eyes. Huang Quan stopped and looked at the eyes of the Uchiha girl in front of him with great interest. It's a pity, the heat is not enough. He just waved his hand and Uchiha Izumi flew out. The Uchiha girl let out a scream and instantly fell to the side. Then, Huang Quan, who was looking for his goal, prepared to step into the house. However, the barrier suddenly shone. In the night, the lavender light formed a shield, blocking his intrusion. Obviously, this was a barrier set up by the witch, and it was touched by the power of the monster. At this time, Naruto shook his head and decided to take action. Yuhi Hong stood up from the ground and looked at the miserable situation in front of her. The ferocious-looking ninjas of the demon country have inhuman looks, and each of them looks like an evil ghost from hell. Obviously, some unknown force was in their bodies, turning them into this terrifying appearance. Illusion. As a guard and the daughter of Yuhihi Kurenai will certainly not retreat. Inheriting her late father's will, she hones her illusion skills and strives to reach the heights that her father once had. That is, the first genjutsu ninja. Uchiha Shisui's rise in fame made her particularly anxious, and she also had the idea of a showdown. It's just that there is no chance for the time being. And now, this mission must not fail. Boom! A loud bang suddenly hit the yard, causing countless smoke and dust to rise. Naruto checked on Uchiha Izumi and found that she was injured to a certain extent. Naruto, Uchiha Izumi murmured. Lying on the ground, she looked at the yellow-haired boy who suddenly appeared. Sister Kwan, don't worry, I'm here to support you. Why? Uchiha Izumi didn't understand. Why would Naruto know what happened here? Although he did run here all the time these days and got to know the Miko-sama and Shien. But, however, before she could think about it, the injuries caused her to pass out. And before she fell into a coma completely, what she saw was Naruto supporting her. Soon, Naruto handed over the unconscious Uchiha Izumi to Hinata Natsu. Hinata Shaw hugged her and left quickly. This kind of battlefield is no longer something she, who is only a chunin in strength, can handle. So, it was her duty to rescue Uchiha Izumi and report the situation to others. Shiyan, go and help. Naruto ordered to Shien, who was standing next to him. Yeah, Shiyan nodded and quickly joined the battle. After her second bout of madness, her mind became even more depraved, and her thinking became even more distorted. This time Naruto called her by her first name, and she didn't feel any problem. Then, Kurenai Yuhi was forming seals to perform illusions when she felt a pain in her back. Naruto kicked her to the ground. A woman with long hair and short knowledge. Naruto repeated what Uchiha Inari once said about Yuhi Kurenai. The ninjas of the demon country in front of them all possess similar alien creatures formed by the power of sprites. It's useless to cast illusions on them. Those alien creatures will awaken them and make them become the same as the perfect Jinchuriki. Woo! Before Yuhi Kurenai could figure out the situation, Naruto took her place and faced the opponent in front of her. As his running speed increased, the red pupils in Naruto's eyes became saturated, and his teeth and nails became sharp. Naruto, who used the power of the tailed beast, rushed in front of his opponent in an instant. This brat. When the demon ninja in front of him saw Naruto suddenly speed up, he knew that Naruto was not an ordinary brat. And the lying Kurenai was thinking, how could she be knocked down by a little kid? When she looked up and saw Naruto's figure clearly, she realized that the one who stepped on her was the child of the fourth Hokage, Uzumaki Naruto. But even if he was the child of the Hokage, he couldn't be so rude. In front of the enemy, he hit his teammates instead. What was he thinking? Naruto didn't know what Kurenai was thinking and didn't intend to consider her thoughts. He only knew that sometimes stupid women don't make trouble is the biggest help. As Naruto rushed to the enemy, his body suddenly burst into light. The whole person was surrounded by a faint black halo. The sudden attack, seemingly small fist, but with unmatched strength. Just one blow, the demon ninja who stretched out his palm to resist was blown away. The latter smashed the stone wall like a cannonball, and then flew all the way outside. Not bad. Naruto glanced at his palm. This is the result of the combined effect of the Nine Tails power and the Yang releases power. Well, maybe we should give this Dark Diamond suit power a name. How about calling it Dark Nine Tails power? Naruto's suggestion was naturally conveyed to the Nine Tails. In response, the Nine Tails snorted coldly and disdained to comment. When the golden-haired Naruto was stained by the dark halo, his shadow projected on the ground shook like a demon. Naruto's appearance naturally attracted everyone's attention, including the Miko who maintained the barrier, her daughter Shien beside her, Uchiha Inahime and other guards, and Wonkwon and his three subordinates. The enemies who realized Naruto's specialness began to adjust their strategies and did not treat Naruto as a little devil. Uchiha Inahori couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief when he saw Naruto coming in to help. He looks immature, but he can actually defeat the 7 ninja swordsmen. How powerful will he be this time? It's time to witness the truth of the rumors. The next moment, Naruto turned around and faced everyone. Good evening, everyone. Oh, wrong, it's not the kind expression of the motherland Naruto. Naruto rubbed his cheeks, then put on a look of anger and loud questioning of a righteous protagonist. You guys, why do you come to hurt Aunt Miko and Shien? Naruto. Little Shien blinked her eyes, and a different light appeared in her eyes when she looked at Naruto. Originally, she came to Konoha from afar, and she was unfamiliar with the place. Finally, she had a little friend, who looked stupid. But, he was very righteous and good at fighting. Naruto's appearance instantly changed Shien's opinion. This child. The Miko also realized that Naruto was extraordinary. She cast her eyes on Uchiha Inahiro, who was guarding in front of her. The latter smiled slightly. Your Highness, Miko, don't worry. If you want to ask why, of course it's because Uzumaki Naruto is a strong ally. Quote. Huang Quan winked, and the three subordinates moved together instantly. The three of them formed seals and used corresponding ninjutsu. Fire escape, angry lotus, wind escape, divine wind, earth escape, earth corridor. The cracked ground rose up, wrapping Naruto like a maze. Fire and wind entered the hole at the same time, forming an explosive compound ninjutsu. A set of combos is enough to kill most enemies. However, the maze created by the earth corridor suddenly exploded. The storm mixed with black and scarlet colors blew everything away with overwhelming force. Wind escape, big breakthrough. Using the power of the Nine Tails with the nature of Dark Nine Tails power brings such an effect. In terms of quality, chakra density and weight, it is far superior to other chakra properties. So under the same scale, Naruto's power must be better. What's more powerful is that Naruto is not chakra, but Chidora. The huge amount of Chidora, with the posture of pure great force to create miracles, cracked the opponent's triple technique one after another. What? The three people from the demon country just showed their surprise, and Naruto had already killed them. The tail of the tailed beast coat swept across the bodies of the three people like a poisonous needle. The three fell to the ground in an instant, and blood spurted out. So strong. The guards of the Uchiha plus ordinary Konoha ninja combination looked at this scene and were shocked by Naruto's powerful strength. The enemy they had difficulty solving was killed in one encounter. As expected, the son of the fourth generation Hokage. Who is this child? The Miko embraced her daughter, and in addition to being thankful, she had a bad feeling. Because Naruto's chakra gave her a twisted and evil feeling. It was even more terrifying than the monsters. This power. Huang Quan jumped high and thought for a few seconds in the air. When he landed, he had made a decision. Is it the legendary tailed beast power? Then. Soon, Huang Quan's body mutated. The dark purple monster power, like a torch, began to burn. Everyone looked at this scene and was very surprised. Because this chakra is unimaginably huge and evil. Even at this time, Naruto was like a match and a torch compared to him. And this was just the beginning. As the purple light shot straight into the sky, a straight beam of light suddenly appeared in Konoha in the dark night. Such an unusually conspicuous force would inevitably alarm the entire village. Almost half of Konoha's strong men felt this surge of chakra, which was even more arrogant than the nature of the Nine Tails chakra. Although doing so will attract the strong men of the entire Konoha. As Huang Quan said this, the whole person mutated again. His body began to twist and grow 2 extra heads, 4 extra arms, and the legs were connected to the earth, turning into the tail of some kind of snake. Wind, fire, thunder, earth, water. The 5 basic attributes exploded around him and spread in all directions. The entire courtyard collapsed in an instant, and except for the location of the Miko's barrier, the building was completely submerged. Staring at this scene in the wind, Naruto narrowed his eyes into a line, without the slightest fear. Then, I might as well transform myself. The next moment, the power of the Nine Tails exploded. The color of the tailed beast coat quickly deepened, and the orange-red chakra covered Naruto's body. The 3 tails began to dance behind him. Monster! Someone shouted. The Wonquan in front of him had indeed turned into a monster because of the power of the demon. But, maybe he was referring to another person. Naruto. Shien murmured Naruto's name, and soon, her true character that had been suppressed these days was exposed. Naruto, come on, beat him. Shion, waving her little fist, began to cheer for Naruto. Shion felt much more comfortable after shouting out the true voice in her heart in one breath and expressing her extroverted personality. No problem. Naruto, with his body slightly leaning forward and three tails swaying behind him, rushed over in one step. The body is covered with a transparent tailed beast robe, allowing people to clearly see Naruto's original appearance. Comparatively, Huang Quan, whose body had completely transformed, looked more like a monster. Bang! Huang Quan's 6 arms hit the ground. 6 burning flames advanced along the surface of the ground, attacking Naruto like waves. The seemingly slow, but actually fast, technique gathered into a cluster. However, Naruto was faster and dodged it directly. But these waves of flames suddenly exploded. Boom boom boom. It was like the sound of thousands of detonating talismans exploding, directly razing the area outside the suburbs to the ground. Yuhi Kurenai and the others had to retreat into the Witch's Barrier. The Witch's Barrier, which had excellent restraint on the power of the demons, resisted this attack very well. Naruto, Shion put her little fist on her chest, and couldn't help but worry about Naruto's situation. And the next moment, Naruto broke through the smoke and ran out of it unscathed. 3 tails dragged behind him, and the wind was high. Then, Naruto hit Huang Quan hard. The two of them were tangled together and rolled towards the back mountain in pieces. They smashed huge rocks and knocked down trees along the way. The impact that was enough to make most Jonin lose their fighting power was just a collision for Huang Quan. His 3 heads observed Naruto, and the 6 arms that stretched out lit up with different chakra attributes. Buzz. Because he came to the forest and was away from everyone, Naruto also changed at this time. Some things are not suitable to be used in front of others. Now is the time for real fighting. Accompanied by the burst of Yang release chakra. Dark 9 Tails power appeared again. The orange-red-tailed beast coat changed into a dark and transparent color. This burning posture is just like the black face in the limited Tsukuyomi world. His mouth was grinning, and the corners of his mouth were raised. Naruto, who showed a grim smile, had a palm like a knife, gathering the 3 tails behind him to work together. It pierced Huang Quan's body like a huge spear. Tisk. Ah! Yellow Spring's 3 cheeks and 6 eyes suddenly opened wide. One blow had severely injured him. How possible? You will be surprised by many more things. Oh, you don't have that chance. Naruto said this in a cruel tone, and the devil's face was reflected in Yellow Spring's eyes. As the 3 tails opened in Yellow Spring's body. Like a blooming flower, and like a rotating minced meat flour knife. Huang Quan was directly ripped open. Hum. Such a serious injury caused the power of the demon in his body to run wild. The uncontrollable power scattered light, like the eve of a bomb exploding. The demon master will definitely conquer the ninja world. After saying this, his body completely exploded and turned into a ball of blood foam. You talk too much nonsense. Naruto landed and looked at the blood rain in the distance with an impatient look. At this time, the 9-tailed fox in Naruto's belly did not speak for a long time. It was still immersed in the strength of Naruto's Yang escape power. Such an evil thought made it confirm the reason why Naruto would not be contaminated by his hatred. That is, Uzumaki Naruto has evil thoughts far beyond himself. From the time this kid met Uchiha Seiko, he could understand everything from what he did. The truth of the matter has long been in front of him. This actual combat application has made Kyuubi confirm the deep darkness in Naruto's heart. But the problem is, how can a human who has been born for only a few years be able to compare with the hatred that has accumulated in his heart for 1,000 years? Is it that I, Kyuubi, am too gentle? Or, Uzumaki Naruto, are you too extreme? Kyuubi thought about it and was unwilling to think that Ashura Chakra was evil. Because he had fought side by side with Ashura and fought against Indra, and he understood Ashura's true character very well. Such a guy, Uzumaki Naruto, will definitely not be the reincarnation of Ashura Chakra. Uzumaki Naruto. The voices of Uchiha Inahori and others sounded from behind. When they found that Naruto was fine, they were shocked and surprised. The next second, Naruto turned around and smiled kindly at everyone. Everyone, it's okay, that guy blew himself up. Not long after, Uchiha Fugaku and others came. The third Hokage also came with him. The explosive power made most of the Konoha strongmen gather here. In Konoha late at night, everyone gathered here to learn the details of the incident. When they learned that it was Naruto who suddenly helped and thwarted the conspiracy of the ninja of the demon country, they couldn't help but be very surprised. Kakashi was also standing in the crowd. He looked at the teacher's child surrounded by everyone, and his emotions were very complicated. Grandpa Hokage, this is what I should do. Naruto scratched his head plus shyly smiled, pretending to be honest. After all, I am a man who wants to become a Hokage. Naruto's immature speech, no one thought he was childish and despised him at this time. After all, Naruto has proved his potential with his strength in several consecutive events. At this age, he has such performance. What will happen when he grows up? He is worthy of being the child of the fourth Hokage. Everyone looked at each other and saw the same meaning in each other's eyes. Naruto-kun, thank you for your help. The Miko walked out of the crowd, and as a target of protection, she thanked Naruto as a matter of course. Hehe, you're welcome, Miko aunt, after all, you are also a member of Konoha, it's only natural to help each other. Naruto waved his hand, and, if you really want to thank me, there will be a chance, later. Naruto stared at the noble face of the Miko, and his tone was meaningful. Before the Miko could appreciate the meaning, her daughter Shien ran over and smiled at Naruto. Naruto, you looked so handsome when you beat those guys just now. Quote. Shien, who looks similar to Hinata but has a completely different personality, is better at expressing her ideas. Her bold and outgoing personality makes everyone smile. Seeing that Naruto has won the favor of two shrine maidens so quickly, the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen is even more relieved. This child seems to have a different personality from Minato, but in fact he has the same ability to gather people's hearts. Only those who are recognized by everyone can become Hokage. At present, Naruto is on the right path. Thinking of his youngest son Asuma who gave up, Sarutobi Hiruzen couldn't help but feel a little sad. People are completely different. The distant land of demons. Yanquan and the others are dead. The ghost sensed the dissipation of the power he had divided. I didn't expect to lose to Konoha. Is it because the action was discovered? Or, because of the 9 tails? In this case, I can only continue to lurk. Quote. The demon suggested. It hopes that the young daimyo can keep a low profile and cultivate the power of the entire country. As long as you spread your power throughout the land of demons, then you will build an invincible army. At that time, conquering the ninja world will be a piece of cake. However, a daimyo who misses his wife and daughter will never allow his wife and children to betray him or even the country. No, they must have been bewitched by the guys in Konoha. I will go to Konoha to find out for myself. Relying on the title of daimyo, he decided to set off for Konoha to conduct diplomatic operations. If it doesn't work, just let the Fire Country daimyo put pressure on Konoha and return his wife and daughter. Faced with the daimyo's determination, Wuliang said nothing. The next morning, the sun rose as usual. The attack by the ninjas from the demon country last night finally came to an end with proper handling. The Miko was transferred to a safer place and the wounded were treated. Naruto also received more recognition from the upper echelons. For the Uchiha clan, if it hadn't been for Naruto's help last night, the outcome of the matter would have been unknown. This also made Uchiha Fugaku realize the inadequacy of the plan. He began to shrink the wings of the Uchiha clan, intending to slowly replace the old faction with a more appropriate and complete plan. Winning over Naruto also accounted for a larger proportion in the plan. The only problem is that both Kazuko and Naruto are still too young to determine their relationship, which is also a variable in the plan. After all, the Hyuga side is also working hard. Although Uchiha Fugaku is very confident in his daughter Seiko, he is also worried that the Konoha high level will directly appoint Naruto and Hyuga Hinata, or someone else. So letting Seiko have more contact with Naruto has become one of the arrangements in the plan. The orphanage was sunny and windy in the morning. Naruto sat cross-legged on the roof to practice yang escape. In the courtyard of the orphanage, Shien was playing with her little friends. Because of Naruto's strength shown again last night, the Konoha high level and the Miko felt relieved to let Shien go out. After all, children need company, and it's not good to be suffocated. This is also one of the plans to integrate the next Miko into Konoha. Brother Naruto, come and play together. The children called to Naruto, who was sitting on the roof. Naruto opened his eyes, jumped down, and was soon surrounded by the children, playing happily with them. Looking at Naruto, who looked like a brother and cared for the children, Nono couldn't help but smile gently. But the next moment, a layer of melancholy appeared on her holy face. Because Naruto's behavior last night attracted Danzo's great attention. After a night of on-site investigation and intelligence, Naruto's explosive power had reached the cage level. Danzo made a major decision temporarily. That is, let Nono bring him to the Root's lair, in front of him by any means. Obviously, Naruto, who defeated the 7 ninja swordsman Biwujuzo before, has the power of outputting destructive power to start with the power of elite Jonin. The explosion of Wonkwon last night and the death of several ninjas from the land of demons made it clear that Naruto's destructive power has reached the cage. Of course, reaching the destructive power of the cage does not mean that all aspects of quality are cage. In terms of comprehensive quality, it is amazing for Uzumaki Naruto to have the level of Chunin in other projects. In short, it is a dangerous destructive power held in the hands of a child. This is in line with Uzumaki Naruto's identity as the Jinchuriki, the sealer of the 9 tails. Pursing her lips, thinking of the safety of everyone in the orphanage and Kabuto, Nono could only follow the instructions issued by Danzo. Lounge. Naruto, I want to take you to a place. When Nono said this, she felt an immense pain in her heart. The more she deceived the kind boy in front of her, the more her conscience tortured her heart. Where is it, Dean? Naruto asked with a curious smile. Little does he know that he will come into contact with the darkest man in Konoha. O Kami-sama, I am guilty. Nanoyu prayed to the gods in his heart, asking the gods to forgive his sins. Because she became more pious, her holy temperament became more and more prominent. Looking at the glorious motherly face of the holy angel above and below. A nun with a seductive sinful body. Naruto was happy to be tricked by her. After all, the more she deceives herself, the more it will cost her later, right? This is called early consumption and early overdraft. That place, maybe the light is darker. Nanoyu glanced to the side, thinking about his words, and finally said this. She was currently sitting on a chair, with the hem of her nun's uniform hanging down. The clothes could not hide his sinful figure. The devil, this is the devil's sin. Naruto smiled inwardly. Well, the black spots don't matter, I don't have night blindness. After learning knowledge from Nanoyu, Naruto learned a lot of medical common sense, and he naturally felt no sense of violation when speaking about it. Dean, take me there. Naruto jumped out of his chair, looking impatient. I trust the Dean the most. Seeing Naruto's smile and listening to his trusting words, Nanoyu felt even more painful inside. Nanoyu nodded, relying on the qualities of a powerful 007 female Bond, she just made herself flawless on the surface. Then, she got up and left the orphanage with Naruto. Dark corridor. Nanoyu is in front and Naruto is behind. The two of them gradually walked downwards, farther and farther away from the surface. Are you really going to follow this woman to Danzo's lair? Kyuubi reminded Naruto in a serious tone. After all, his opponent is not a fool, but one of the worst human beings in the ninja world. The reason why I say one is because there is a guy in front of me who is no less than that guy. It's okay, don't worry, Kyuubi, old man Danzo is a good man. Naruto said. Shimura Danzo, who is dedicated to Konoha, has no bad intentions. Danzo who wants to be Hokage is the most handsome. HMPH. I hope you won't fall into his hands. Kyuubi didn't have much to do about it. After all, the Bagua seal has only revealed 3 tails so far. And judging from Uzumaki Naruto's dark heart, if he wanted to infiltrate his consciousness and escape from trouble, he would probably have to explode 7. Oh no, it takes 8 tails to make this kid go berserk. Kyuubi comforted himself. It feels really bad to put your life in someone else's hands. Kyuubi is helpless. JPG. I can't beat old Danzo, but I can't outrun him. Naruto continued walking and talking to Kyuubi. Life will find a way, and I, Naruto Uzumaki, am not stupid. And I'm very interested in what that old man Danzo wants to fart. In fact, you should take the initiative to find him. The Uchiha clan has changed its strategy, from violent revolution to gentleness now. How will Danzo rely on Itachi Uchiha to destroy Uchiha? This is very important for your next plan to deal with changes. Zuozi, he needs to be saved. Uchiha Izumi too. Sako's mother, Auntie Makoto is even more so. No one can stop me, Naruto Uzumaki, absolutely not. After a long journey, Naruto finally arrived at the location indicated by Nanoyu. The deepest man-made structure in Konoha, the location of Danzo's true lair. The core of the route. The huge underground space is unexpectedly bright. Naruto looked at this circular, empty building. Apart from the supporting stone pillars, there were also charms attached to it for reinforcement. Dean, what kind of place is this? At this moment, Naruto did not forget to ask, pretending that he did not know this place. Nanoyu, who had led Naruto here, opened his mouth, but couldn't say anything. After all, how could she explain it? Could it be that he deliberately led Naruto into the abyss? In this regard, Nanoyu could only pray silently in his heart and ask God for forgiveness. And the pain in my heart increased even more. Soon, Danzo's figure appeared. Benedict. He walked slowly forward with a cane, and finally stood in front of Naruto. Nanoyu quietly disappeared without knowing when. It's you, old man. Stop pretending, Uzumaki Naruto, or rather, the nine-tailed demon fox. As soon as Naruto opened his mouth, he was interrupted by Danzo. Danzo, who could see Naruto's true nature at a glance, disdained to face such a pretense. Just like in the original work, he disdained Sai's smile. And Orochimaru, who is on the same page as Danzo, also has a natural aversion to Sai's fake smile. To a certain extent, this can be considered a kind of sincerity. HMPH. I'm old enough. Naruto snorted, his expression changing. From the disguised naive look, he turned into a playful face exuding malice. And this is the essence of Naruto. The natural malice is almost overflowing. The playful expression is cynical, as if he doesn't care about anything. Facing Naruto's truth, Danzo narrowed his eyes. He is observing. Observing who the nine-tailed demon fox looks like. First, exclude Minato Namikaze, and then exclude Kushina Uzumaki. Then, there are only two explanations for why he looks like this. The first possibility is that Naruto Uzumaki is affected by the hatred of the nine-tailed demon fox and becomes like this, all because of the nine-tailed. The second possibility is that he has been hated and disgusted by the villagers for a long time. The environment affects people, and people cannot exist without material things. Naruto Uzumaki has been treated in a negative environment for a long time, and finally formed such a second-rate character. If it is the second reason, then, the interesting thing is, the person who spread the rumor that Naruto Uzumaki is the nine-tailed demon fox is himself. In other words, it is because of himself that Naruto Uzumaki is shaped like this. The question is, if Minato Namikaze and Kushina know about it in the spring, what will they think if they know that their child has become like this? A huge joy rushed into Danzo's heart. It's very rude to curse. Danzo said in a pleasant tone. I haven't asked you to settle the account for spreading rumors about me yet. Naruto named the name, indicating that he already knew that it was Danzo who did it. This made Danzo raise his eyebrows slightly. This yellow-haired kid could actually guess something that even Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know. Who told him? Was it Hatake Kakashi? Or was it Shiranui Genma, Bizarito, and Dai Iwashi, the three former members of the Flying Thunder God Genma squad and the guards of the fourth Hokage? Only these four people had enough reason to guess and told Naruto the possibility. Are you going to eliminate me? Just like you killed the leader of the Kumogakur ninja, Biwajuzo, and Yomi. Quote. Humph, that depends on how much you are courting death, and even if I don't do it, someone will take care of you. Naruto said, I don't need to do anything to get you killed. Someone will kill you. Naruto was referring to Seiko. However, Danzo understood it as other Uchiha. For example, a certain Uchiha daimyo who recently took the initiative to announce that he has a Mangekyo and explained the Mangekyo. That is indeed worth noting. Danzo nodded, acknowledging Naruto's reminder. Uchiha Shisui. This young man is too threatening. Things like Koto Amatsukami are definitely not supposed to exist in this world. No, it should be said that the entire Uchiha should not exist. Watching Naruto and Danzo fighting, the two of them verbally abused each other, the Nine Tails was stunned. Danzo is certainly the most powerful human villain in the ninja world. However, Uzumaki Naruto is no less than the others. What is this? A fight between demons. Danzo's flawless scheming and Naruto's endless eloquence. The decision on the future of Uchiha, the future of Konoha, and even the future of the ninja world were played out in this empty root nest. Naruto and Danzo negotiated for a long time. Only the Nine Tails knew what they talked about. The two of them got what they needed and hoped to achieve their own goals. In the end, the two reached a devil's deal on a recent smart way of dealing with something. The two reached a tacit understanding on the plan to erase Uchiha Shisui. As for some differences in the details of the plan, isn't it normal to have differences? Seek common ground while reserving differences. How about we kill Uchiha Shisui first? We can do whatever we need to do later. You continue to walk your single plank bridge, and I walk my Yangguan road. It's okay if we fight each other to death. Finally, Naruto waved his hand. Let's go. Naruto walked away arrogantly with a step that didn't recognize his relatives. Soon, Danzo smiled, cold and terrifying. The subordinates who came asked Danzo why he laughed. Danzo said, "Don't you think that this little brat Uzumaki Naruto is very suitable to inherit the darkness of Konoha? People always die. Over the years, I feel more and more that my body is old. Who will bear the darkness of Konoha after I am 100 years old? This is a problem. And Uzumaki Naruto is very suitable. Konoha Hospital." Itachi, who joined the Anbu and returned from his first mission, took off his Anbu uniform and came here as soon as he learned that Izumi was injured. The unimaginable anxiety gripped my heart. He felt the importance of this girl to him. Ninja from the land of demons. He just hoped that Izumi was fine. The white ward was filled with the smell of disinfectant. Itachi gently pushed the door open and saw the weak girl lying on the bed. "Izumi." "Itachi, you came to visit me." Izumi smiled weakly. She was covered with a quilt and it looked difficult to move. "I heard that you." Itachi was not good at speaking, and he didn't know what to say at this time. But it was this interaction that made the conflict between the two disappear without a trace. It seemed, they were back to normal. Itachi came over, dragged a chair over and sat down. Izumi stretched out his hand from under the quilt, and Itachi held it. The warm feeling came from each other's hands, and the two smiled at each other. However, the next second, what Izumi said made Itachi's face change drastically. "Thanks to Naruto for saving me." Naruto. Following Izumi's description, Itachi learned the whole story. Uzumaki Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto again. A tsunami-like emotion stirred up in his heart. "Izumi." "Itachi, what's wrong with you? You look so scary." Itachi's face became ferocious, but he didn't notice the distortion of his expression at all. On the way back to the orphanage. "Director, you deceived me." Naruto's resentful questioning made Nono suffer from inner torment. Along the way, Naruto tortured her psychology like this. Disguised as a refugee, but actually a spy of the root. Naruto's low voice, like the death words of a ghost, planted the seeds of uneasiness in her heart. "Approaching me step by step, just for Naruto, I." Nano's face turned pale. Just like the words at this moment, all the arguments were so powerless. It feels bad to be deceived, especially when you are gradually harmed again and again. How should I face Naruto in the future? How can I continue to get along with him? Nono didn't know. She had her own difficulties, but Naruto was also innocent. At this moment, she could only pray to the gods again, praying that the gods could forgive her behavior. Izakaya. Located at the intersection of a busy commercial street, the izakaya is one of the favorite places for Konoha villagers and ninjas. Its earliest history can be traced back to the time of Hashirama Senju. As time goes by, its popularity has never diminished. And because of the increase in Konoha's population, after several expansions, the internal space has become very large. In one of the private rooms, a farewell is taking place. "This time I'm really leaving Konoha." Asuma held a wine glass in his hand. After wandering around for a few days, he planned his route. Next, he will completely leave the village for a long time. He will not return until he has made achievements outside. Red, take care. Asuma picked up the wine glass and drank the drink in one gulp. Then he stood up and left gracefully. This is not irresponsibility to lovers, but a real effort to find a bright future. Asuma. Kurenai stared at Asuma's leaving figure, feeling extremely melancholy in her heart. But she made no attempt to stay. Because she knew that this was not what Asuma needed at this time. Breaking into the ninja world, reaching higher achievements, and being recognized by the Sandaime Hokage, is what this man is pursuing. Also drink a glass of wine. The hot drink didn't make Yuhi Kurenai look ugly. Because her usual hobby is drinking, and her drinking capacity is amazing. Part of the monthly salary for the task is spent on it. Wiping the corners of her bright red mouth, she got up from the sofa and prepared to settle the score with some kid. Uzumaki Naruto. In last night's action, he had humiliated himself. He originally planned to deal with the ninjas of the demon country and protect the Miko, but he interfered. There must be a reason why you sabotaged your mission. And even if he is the 4th generation Hokage's child, even if his destructive power is amazing, he still has to be reasonable. Because of his performance last night, he became the laughingstock of others. After all, I originally worked hard and planned to express myself well, but in the end, with that attitude, the ugly appearance of being stepped on and knocked over. Think of this. Yuhi's red teeth were about to chatter. She vowed to make that kid look good. After leaving the izakaya, she went straight to Naruto's house. After knocking on the door for a while, I found that the other party was not there. After careful investigation, she found out that the other party was not at home, so she thought of what her companions were talking about. Because Uzumaki Naruto is already quite famous, many people always mention him. One of them is that Naruto Uzumaki will go to the orphanage to help. Today is the weekend, so the kid is in the orphanage. Yuhi Hong took action immediately. When she arrived at the orphanage, what she saw was the scene of Naruto and Nunoyu just returning here, standing at the door. Dean. Naruto's resentful tone continued to torture Nanoyu. The latter had a sad look on his face, his expression was unbearable, and he was about to lose his power. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.